session for my finger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll be good.
Con, all praises to the Most High. And I do want to say, I want to give the Most High all praise for blessing us with you, because sister, you had it decked out these 2 new moons past, and we truly appreciate that, because that helps bring the festivity and bring us like really in the spirit of the law, statutes, and commandments. And the scripture do say that because we didn't keep these feasts with joyfulness of heart, that he sent us into captivity. So it's a glorious thing to walk in here and see it not even look like a gym, look like something totally different. So all praises to the Most High for that. Anybody else have a testimony?
I just like to say I'm just so grateful for the actual learning and finding out who I really am and what we need to be doing as followers.
God.
You know, it's just, it makes me feel good and I know that I'm on the right track and I just need to get deeper and deeper and deeper and keep studying.
All praises.
Appreciate you.
All praises. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High.
I like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring a precept out to what you're saying. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. It said, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master crib.
That's right.
But Israel do not know. My people do not consider. You consider. You know, that's the first step. You know, you consider. So you hear. And then I see you been here the past couple of Saturdays too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good scripture.
My brother just said concerning being known that you are Israel. And what God said concerning you. He said you the apple of his eye. His most beloved.
That's right. God.
His most precious jewel.
That's right.
That's the word.
Yep. That's why the Most High mad at these nations. He got some craziness going on in the world right now for them touching the apple of his eye. Yep. Come, brother Obadiah.
Hey, today, when you finish up, could you just briefly let some of the people in here know what the feast days, what they mean, the one.
Oh no, we could do that now.
We got the feast days coming up.
So today's lesson.
The feast day.
Today's lesson is the feast days that we have to keep. All right, what are the Lord's feast days that we have to keep in the order and how we keep each one? So first, we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 23. And if y'all taking down notes or if y'all highlighting in your Bible, maybe your Bible apps got notes or something like that, y'all want to title Leviticus 23 as High Holy Days. Because if you want to know any high holy day that we have to celebrate, that's commanded for us to celebrate, they're all here. Now, there are other feast days that's not written in this chapter, but they, Salaki, y'all. There are other feast days written outside of Leviticus 23, but these are the ones that's commanded with God, like you have to do it, you know. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start straight from chapter 23, verse 1.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord.
So this is concerning all of the feast of the Lord. All right, and when we read this chapter, I want y'all to tell me if we read Christmas, or if we read Easter, or Lent, or any of those other days, because those are not written in the Bible. Read on.
Concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation. Even these are my feasts.
So even these are the feasts of the Lord. So what's the first feast that the Lord is going to title? Read.
Verse 3. 6 days shall you work be done. Shall work be done. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
Right. So 6 days shall work be done. But on the 7th day, we're supposed to rest. So the Sabbath day is the first feast. And it is a feast. that the Lord want us to celebrate. Every 7 days, we supposed to celebrate the Sabbath day. Hold this, go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. We're going to start from when the Sabbath day was officially established. Read that.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work.
So now after the Lord created everything, the seventh day is when everything was done. Everything was completed. Man was created. The animals was created. The sky, the earth, everything. So the seventh day is when the Lord ceased. Seventh day is when the Lord ceased from that particular work. He stopped. Right? Read on.
And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made.
Uh-huh.
And he rested on the seventh day.
And he did what?
And he rested on the seventh day.
So my goodness, if God rested on the seventh day, I'm pretty confident we should be resting on the seventh day. The body could only take but so much before your body eventually just break down and crash, you know. And if y'all ever seen people who's like workaholics, schoolaholics, like I've seen it more like when I was in college. And I've seen people who study, like cram study, and then like a few days later, you just see them crash. You know, you be like, oh man, so-and-so missed class, where they at? They in their dorm, knocked out, can't get up, can't move, because everybody needs rest. If God need rest, not that God need rest, but if God took rest, then we definitely need rest. Read on.
And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
Uh-huh.
And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it.
So now right there said God did what?
Blessed the seventh day and sanctified
So
it.
God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. The word sanctified is to make holy. So he made that day holy from the beginning of the time. And that's why we have what we was talking about in the new moon class, when we was talking about the 365-day calendar. That started from this right here. Because for every week, you make 52 weeks and you get 65 days. That creates the year. So the Lord established the Sabbath day from the beginning of time according to the days of the year. It have to be a full week, Sunday through Saturday.
I got something crazy. I think this sounds crazy, but you know, the Most High say a day is like 1,000 years.
Yes, it is.
And 1,000 years is like one day.
Yep.
So if you're looking at it, he just made all of this in
7,000. He made all of this 6,000
years.
Yes.
It took him years to lay all this out.
Yes.
Because he said the earth will never be destroyed. I mean,
Yes.
it won't never go away.
It won't never go away. Yeah.
Because it took him years to make it.
Yeah, you could drop Genesis and go to Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. And it did take years. It took thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
Thousands of years. But by the time it came to that seventh day, that 7,000 year for the Most High, by the time it came to that seventh day, for us in our time, it was only 7 days.
7 days.
But this is why the last new moon, I talked about how seasons was created before months. You had years that was created before months, because it said what? That the moon was created on the fourth day. So now with that logic, if a year to the Lord is 1,000 years, a day unto the Lord is as 1,000 years. Now with that logic, that means for 4,000 years there was no moon for there to be a month.
Right.
So there's no way that the Sabbath day could be based off the new moon. Because you went 4,000 years without a moon. You understand that? But we didn't go 4,000 years without a year. That we always had. And there's always been a 52-week year. Because there's 4 seasons in a year. It takes 52 weeks then encompass 4 seasons.
That's right.
So those 52 weeks are a continuous cycle of 7 days. It's every 7 days. The Lord didn't say keep the Sabbath on the 7th day and the 14th day and the 21st day. He said every 7 days. All right, at the end of the 7 days, it starts over. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. So that's why we follow the Sabbath the way we follow it, every 7 days. All right, if you follow it any other way, it ain't gonna work. Read that in Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 4. Salaki.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
One generation passes away.
So we are a generation right now of Israel. One day we are gonna die. And then what's gonna happen? Read.
And another generation cometh.
And then there's gonna be a whole new generation of Israel who probably don't know who the heck a Yo Wet Time is, know nothing about these gatherings, it's a whole new generation, right? Read.
But the earth abide forever.
Now, how long do the earth abide?
Forever.
The earth abides forever. The earth is not going nowhere.
Always been
right?
there.
So we're gonna go back to Leviticus 23, and we're gonna pick up with the first. We're gonna pick up with the first feast day that's titled in Leviticus 23. Read that.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocation, which ye shall proclaim in their season.
Proclaiming what?
In their season.
So now the reason why I started really getting into teaching the Lord's time and calendar like that, because it's very important that we know that our feast days are not like Esau feast days. Esau feast days have a set day every year. December 25th, every year is Christmas. That's without a benefit of the doubt. But our feast days don't work like that. Our feast days are not based on a specific date. They're based on the seasons. Passover always have to be in the spring, the beginning of spring. Tabernacles will always be in the fall, when fall is starting to come in. All of these feasts are based off of the seasons. There's only 2 feasts that's not based off of the season, and that's Pentecost and Day of Atonement. Pentecost, because that feast is based off of the number of Sabbaths. You gotta count 7 Sabbaths and 1 day after that, and then you have Pentecost, right? And then Day of Atonement, because Day of Atonement is really a day of mourning and fasting, So it is always held in the fall, but it's always on the 10th day of the 7th month. So yeah, that one, you could say that's according to the season, But all of the Lord's feasts are based off of nature. It's not based off of a set calendar like Esau's Gregorian calendar. Read on.
Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month.
So now this is the second feast after the Passover that we all got to follow. So if y'all writing this down, Passover is the second feast that the Lord wants us to follow. Read that again.
Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at eve is the Lord Passover.
So on the 14th day of the first month at evening. Now, the first month of the year, according to the Most High, is not January. January is not the first month of the year. In fact, January is pretty much like the second to the last month of the year, according to the Lord's calendar.
Right.
Because according to the Lord, the year starts in spring. Hold this and go to Exodus 12 and 1.
This is the book of Exodus,
So,
chapter
it's
12,
going to be easy.
verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
So he said this month shall be what?
The beginning of months.
So this is the beginning of months. So now let's see if the Lord going to describe this month as January. Read.
It shall be the first month of the year to you.
The first month of the year. Read on.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb.
Stop right there. We're going to go to another scripture that tell you the season that the first month was in. You could drop Exodus. Go to Deuteronomy 16 and 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Observe the months of
Abib. Read it again.
Observe the months of Abib.
Now, the month of Abib, the word Abib means to spring forth. All right? Hence, the beginning of spring. So now, remember we read that the Lord created everything in the sky to be for times and seasons. That's why we look for a spring equinox. The spring equinox is what let us know the season of spring is coming in. So we know the first new moon after the spring equinox is what? The first month of the year. The first new moon after the spring equinox is the first month of the year. Read it again.
Deuteronomy 16 and 1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God.
So it said keep the Passover. So that's what we're reading about now in Leviticus 23. We're talking about keeping the Passover. We just read that Passover is made in the month of Abib. We know that the word Abib means to spring forth, the budding in the ear of corn, meaning everything is just starting to grow, which we know that that's the beginning of spring. And we know that spring begins after the spring equinox. This is common sense. Well, I don't want to say common sense because when we was in the world, we didn't even think about none of this stuff. When we was in the world, we just had a calendar put on the wall with Martin Luther King face on it, and we just depended on that right there. Like, woke up in the morning, oh, it's Saturday. What date is it? The 16th? All right, yeah, and then we good, you know. But we have to get back to nature because a time will come where we're not going to have all of this technology or the availability to be able to use Esau's system to keep track of time no more. You know, what happens when there is no electricity? You know, all we got to do is look at the sky, you know. But many of us going to be looking at the sky, don't know what we're looking at because Esau made it where we're not connected to nature how we used to be in the scriptures. So we become dependent on his system and his calendar, and that's what we're used to. But we're going to get back to it. Read on.
For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
So go back to Leviticus 23. So we just wanted to show that the season that the first month happens in is in the spring, and that Passover have to be in the spring. You can't celebrate Passover in winter. You know, and that's why understanding how the solar system and all of that stuff work is important. Because if you don't understand how that works, then you'll just assume there's only 12 months in a year. You know, and then you assume that only 12 months in a year is all right. And then you'll be celebrating Passover in the winter. You know, every 3 to 4 years is what you would call a leap year. According to the Bible, it would be a 13th new moon. We would add an extra month because the solar calendar and the lunar calendar had to be balanced together. The solar calendar stayed consistent one way all of the time. Solar calendar is based off of the sun. The sun stays the same all of the time. 365 days, boom, boom, boom. But the moon have phases. Yeah, the moon is a lunar calendar.
I know you're saying 365 days, but when you do the math, you end up on 364.
Right, sometimes it's 364, and that's why you have what you call a leap year.
Yeah.
Because when it's 364, then by the time you get to like the 3rd or the 4th year, you're going to notice that based off of that count, the 3rd or 4th year, you're going to be a few weeks kind of like behind. So then the season is going to show you're about a few weeks behind because when it's supposed to be March, it'll still be cold and snowing and snowstorms and all of this stuff. And you're like, man, ain't this supposed to be Passover supposed to be coming up in 2 weeks? No, it ain't. That's when you know, oh, a leap year coming. You got to add an extra month. Now you add that extra new moon, right? Then a few weeks, 4 weeks pass, spring equinox come in, snow start melting, buds start budding. You know, that leap year is when it's 365 days, you know, but the regular year is 364. Because if you do the math, it's not an exact calculation. It's not exactly 365 days. You understand?
Right.
So it's like a remainder or something like that. So, shalom.
Come on, brother.
So that leap year or that 13th new moon is what's necessary to keep that count balanced, so you can make sure that your feast days are in season.
I know that the Ethiopian Bible claims to have 13 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're dealing with the leap year. Every year don't have 13 months though.
In the Ethiopian calendar.
Yeah, no, I don't know about the Ethiopian calendar, but what I'm saying that according to the Bible, every year don't have 13 months. You understand? But there are 13 months in a year, but it's like every 3 to 4 years. You understand?
No.
Now I know it's confusing because
Well, I go back to where the scripture says that Satan would attempt to change times and seasons.
He did.
right, he
So-
did.
And he did.
He did.
That's
That's why we having this conversation.
That's why I be tripping when somebody say 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year.
Right. Those are not exact numbers. No,
Huh?
they're not exact numbers though. You know what I'm saying? Because when you really do the math, like if you divide 365 by 52, you're not going to get an exact number. There's still going to be a remainder after. You understand? So is there 52 weeks in a year? Yes, but sometimes it's 51. You know. So that's what I'm saying. Like the Lord time and the way man try to determine time is different.
And the sun get behind.
Huh?
The sun get behind.
The Most High, He have the sun, the moon, and the stars move in a certain rotation. And based off of that rotation, that's how we get the days. Like for example, every year, when you get closer to summer, the sun stays out longer.
Right.
By the time you get to the core of summer, the sun is out longer than the 12-hour day.
Right. But that's pretty constant. From
Right,
Year
but
to year.
yeah, but that's pretty constant from year to year. But I'm just trying to show you how, based off of the way the stars move, the time changes. It goes the same way. We're doing it from year to year, but then there's also 3 years, 4 years, and every 10 years, where things shift a certain way in the sky that creates the time difference. Now, I don't want to say astrologers, astronomers. Hold on. Astronomers, these are professionals who understand that knowledge to the T. So the questions that we have, they would be able to answer with no problem if we go to an actual astronomer. You understand? We are just people who's picking up the pieces to the puzzle in the Bible and beginning to realize, hey, we supposed to be following it this way,
Right.
but we've been told this our whole life.
Yeah, and trusting the astronomers is like saying that the year started in December. I mean January.
No, astronomers don't teach that. Like astronomers, all right, so you have astrologers and you have astronomers. Both of them study the stars, both of them study the sky, but the difference is astrologers worship what's in the sky. Astronomers literally just strictly study what's in the sky. Astrologers, because they worship what's in the sky, they have philosophies that come with the knowledge that they've studied from the sky. So they end up worshiping the moon, they worship the sun, so forth and so on. So based off of the way they worship, now they determine when their calendars start based off of their doctrine and their philosophy. That's astrologers.
So the world follows their
They're following astrology. They're following their philosophies. Because, for example, like in astrology, right? You look up like during the time frame of like from December, January, and the beginning of March, right? That's actually the time period of the god Janus. And Janus is a god that has 4 faces. Sometimes he or she, because sometimes it's a she, sometimes it's a he. Sometimes they only have 2 faces. And in Greek society and in Roman society, probably others too, but this is more like a Greek god and a Roman god. When you would enter into a village, they would have this head with 4 faces or sometimes 2 faces at the entrance of every city. And what they used to do was they would pray for goodwill when they go into the city as far as the future, and they would look towards the past, and pretty much it's like symbolism of leaving the past behind. That's why every New Year's Eve they do New Year's Eve parties. And what are you doing? Countdown. And when you do the countdown, you turn on the TV and they show everything that they showed on TV for the past year and a collage of different events that happened for that is the worship of the god Janus. That's the god or goddess of past, present, and future.
You know, the Most High told us, he said he gonna give them the moon, the stars, and frogs, and dogs. But he told us not to be dismayed at that stuff.
Exactly.
Because we got the real thing.
Exactly. And that's the difference between astrologers and astronomers. Astronomers deal with science. Astrologers, they deal with science too, but they have philosophy, religion, and ideology attached to it. That's why they have certain seasons. You an Aquarius, you a Gemini, and you this and you that. All of that is astrology dealing with the worship of other gods. That's why nobody should be going around telling I'm an Aries. So when you do that, you put yourself in a category. And Aries is supposed to be a certain way, so now I gotta act like the Aries. It's silliness. It's stupidity, you know. But the crazy thing is, there is some truth in that stuff because it's dealing with the worship of Satan. You understand? Satan have power too. You know, when Moses and Aaron put down their staff, the witch and the warlocks, they put down their staff and turned into a snake too. So don't be surprised if you run into this and you know, they used to have it in the newspaper. Y'all remember in the newspaper, they'd be like, oh, today if you're in an Aquarius, you're gonna have this experience. I used to read that stuff as a teenager, you know. And people fall for it though, but there is some truth in it, which is the reason why people, because
and he said he's going to give them other gods. He's
right.
going to give them gods. So,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you, if you believe in it, you're going to be a part of it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what that's dealing with. So go back to Leviticus 23.
Yeah.
And I'll pick up where we left off at.
Verse 5, in the 14th day of the first month at Eve is the Lord Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread.
So now the very next day is the feast of unleavened bread. So the 14th day is Passover, the 15th day is the feast of unleavened bread. But the way Passover and unleavened bread is celebrated, they celebrate it together. The evening that closes the 14th day is celebrated when you actually eat the Passover, which is also the evening, right? Which is the going into the 15th day. So the actual celebration of Passover happens pretty much in between the 14th and the 15th day. That's when Passover is celebrated. You understand? But it's two different celebrations being celebrated at the same time. But now, what happens with the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Read.
Same month in the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
So now Passover is only 1 day. And you know what you're doing on that day? You're killing the lamb. You're preparing the lamb to be eaten for Feast of Unleavened Bread. Passover is not like, some people think like I've seen some congregations where they have 2 separate services, where they'll have a Passover the night before and then they'll celebrate Feast of Unleavened Bread the night after. But it's actually celebrated together, right? But I've seen some people do that. But Passover, when you really look at it, when you look at the ordinances of Passover, that whole day you're dealing with the lamb. That's all you're doing on that 4th. By the time that day is over and the sun go down, and now you're praying over that lamb and it's getting cut and it's getting cooked over that fire, that's when you're actually having the celebration. That's when you're having the meal. Because that whole night, you're supposed to be slicing pieces of that lamb. You get lamb, you get lamb, you get lamb, until there's nothing but bones. And then before the sun come up, those bones have to be burned. We're going to read it. Keep reading.
Verse 7. In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation.
So the first day is a holy convocation. Now this is talking about the first day of Feast of Unleavened Bread. Because Passover is only one day. So now Feast of Unleavened Bread is the first day celebrated with Passover. So Passover, that first day of Unleavened Bread, everybody have to come together. We all got to have a holy convocation. When you read the Bible, can't nobody celebrate Passover here, then the other people celebrate it there, and everybody do their own thing. That's not how it's supposed to be. The Lord wanted everybody to come together for a holy convocation. And then what? Read.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Right, because that first day, Passover, is considered a Sabbath. Just like the Sabbath day, but it's just not falling on the Sabbath day. But it's still a Sabbath. So the same way you would follow the Sabbath, you follow Passover. But there's a difference. Sabbath day, you're not allowed to cook. Sabbath day, you're not allowed to do strenuous work. That's the difference. Passover, you can. Passover, you have to cook. It's a commandment for you to cook on Passover. You're cooking lamb. Read.
Verse 8. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days.
So now for 7 days, so only that first day is treated like a Sabbath. Then the rest of the days after that, or rather in between, are regular days. They're still days of celebration. You're still supposed to party, enjoy one another, give gifts and all of that stuff, right? But it's not a Sabbath. It's not a sin if you go to work. It's a sin if you go to work on Passover. It's a sin if you go to work on a Sabbath day, but it's not a sin if you go to work during the week of the feast, because this is not treated as a Sabbath. These are regular days. Read on.
And the 7th day is an holy convocation.
But the 7th day of the unleavened bread, the very last day, is a holy convocation, just like the first day. So we come together on the first day, we have worship, we celebrate, and then for 6 days we celebrate. And then the 7th day, the very last day, we come back together again and we worship and we close out. And that's the end of the feast. So now how lovely is it to have a feast for 7 days? I'm just saying, we only get 1 day. Look, Esau's biggest day is Christmas. And that's only 1 day. Certain jobs, and there's certain jobs you still work on that 1 day. You still, in Israel, man, the Lord had this thing closed down for the whole week. And then you ain't even have to have it closed down for the whole week. You could just not work on the first and the last day, but the Lord said, now celebrate the whole week. Offer a burnt offering every day out of that week. Man, they was eating lovely. You know, lamb, ram, whatever it was. Read.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Right, when it's telling you not to work on these days, like the Sabbath day, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, first and last day. The work that it's talking about is servile work, meaning servant work, meaning work for hire. That's what it's talking about. It's not saying, oh, you can't do the dishes on the Sabbath day, you know. I mean, like, if there's a whole bunch of piled up dishes, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should have got rid of it before the Sabbath day. Right? But it's not saying that you're in sin because you sweeping your house or making up your bed. That's not the work it's talking about. It's talking about work for hire. As in, I'm working for you, you're paying me to do this, and I'm doing this manual labor. Read on.
Verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof.
Now this is the only feast that's not going to give a specific date. We read the Sabbath day. Sabbath day said on the 7th day. We read the Passover on the first month on the 14th day. We read Feast of Unleavened Bread the 15th day. And for 7 days on the last day, we come together. But now, all of a sudden, we're about to read another feast day that don't give you a specific day. Read.
Then ye shall bring a sheaf of first fruit of your harvest unto the priest.
But now it's telling you how you determine when to count or determine when we celebrate this day. When you have a full sheaf. The sheaf that it's talking about is a wheat harvest. Wheat harvest only grow during specific time. So from the beginning of spring it start budding, right? And then eventually a few weeks later, there's a full harvest. Once that full harvest come, what do the Lord want us to do? Read.
Verse 11, and he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord.
He want us to cut down that harvest, that sheaf, and weigh it before the Lord. Read on.
To be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it.
Right, so on the morrow after the Sabbath. Now, which Sabbath is it talking about? It's talking about a regular Sabbath day. Meaning, when you get the sheaf, like, oh man, this is the first load of vegetation. And you cut it down, that next Sabbath day, the day after, which would be Sunday, according to the world's day, is when you do an offering unto the Lord. Now, hold this, go to Deuteronomy 16. We're going to get a little bit more clarity on this feast day, because it didn't even tell you what feast day it was yet. But we're going to get a little bit of clarity. 16, and start from verse 9.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 9. 7 weeks shall thou number unto thee, beginning to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn.
Now, the word sickle is talking about the tool that they use, the farming tool, to cut down the sheaf harvest. So it's saying to determine this feast day, to determine this next feast day that's coming up, which I'm going to spoil it for y'all, it's Pentecost. To determine when Pentecost happens, once you cut down your first sheaf, that's when you start counting your Sabbaths. How many Sabbaths do we got to count? Read.
7, beginning to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn.
So the moment you put that sickle to the corn for that first harvest, now you're counting 7 Sabbaths. Read on.
Verse 10, and thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God.
And it's called the Feast of Weeks because 7 Sabbaths mean how many weeks? 7 weeks. The Lord is very mathematical. I mean, we keep reading this right now, even going through the time with everything. You know, read on.
And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God with a tribute of a free will offering of thy hand.
With a free will offering of thy hand. Now stay in Deuteronomy and go to chapter 20. It might be, hold on. It's not chapter 20, it's probably 26. Yep, chapter 26. And start from verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26, verse 1. And it shall be, when thou art come in unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance, and possessing it, and dwellest therein. Verse 2. That thou shalt take of the first of all the fruit of the earth, which thou shalt bring of thy land, that the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Right, now this is talking about the sheaf offering. Now the way that we know that the morrow after Sabbath that it's talking about is not the Sabbath day after Passover or after Feast of Unleavened Bread, because earlier we read that the first month is the month of Abib, which is the beginning of what, y'all? Spring. In the beginning of spring, do we have a full amount of vegetation, or is everything just starting to grow? Just starting to grow. So there's no way you can put a sickle to anything the Sabbath day after Passover or the Sabbath day after unleavened bread. There's nothing that's grown long enough for you to put a sickle to it. So the Sabbath day is talking about is after there's a full sheaf. That's when you count the 7 Sabbaths. Read on.
Which thou shalt bring of thy land that the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shall put it in a basket, and shall go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name there.
Right, so now everybody's supposed to bring their vegetation for first fruits. This is how you celebrate Pentecost. Everybody bring their vegetation from first fruits, and then they bring it to Jerusalem. That's where the Lord put his name in. All right, the Lord's name is Yahweh. His son bears his name. That's why his name is Yahweh Shai. His favorite city also bears his name, and it's Yerushalayim. Right? So the Lord, now if we do it in English, Jehovah, Jeshua. Jehovah, Jerusalem. The Lord's name is in his son, and the Lord's name is in his city. All right? That's the place where the Lord wanted us to bring all of our first fruits, all of our first harvest. That sheaf offering, that's where the Lord wanted us to bring it. So that's why when we celebrate Pentecost today, we really don't do that part, because we're not in the land. If you celebrate Pentecost today, it's more like you're doing an acknowledgement more so than anything else, because there is spiritual significance behind Pentecost, right? And because there's spiritual significance behind Pentecost, we're supposed to get together, because the spiritual significance is now, instead of us bringing a sheaf offering, a bunch of wheat and grains, you guys are the offering. The people you teach, the people y'all invite and bring in, they are now the first fruits of the Lord. Cut. Cut. So we don't do this part, even though it would be nice to practice this, just in practice, you know, with those of us who trying to grow things and stuff like that, you know, because guess what? A time gonna come where you ain't gonna be able to buy food and do all of that stuff that we do now so easy. Esau locking it down. Trump sending troops to major cities, right? They tried to pass the big genius bill that pretty much is going to digitize money and nobody's going to have physical cash no more. So the time going to come where we're going to have to go back to knocking on each other's door. My mama said, do you have a cup of sugar? We're going to have to go back to that again in order to survive, right? So read on.
Verse 3. And thou shalt go unto the priest that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I profess this day unto the Lord thy God, that I am come unto the country which the Lord sware unto our father for to give us.
So now the ritual in Pentecost is, once you bring your first fruits, all of your vegetation, then there was a prayer that had to be made in front of the priest. So it's like you bringing all your, let's say you got sheep. You bringing all of your first fruits of your sheep, because we had to bring that too. When you present it to the priest is going to make you recite this prayer. I came to the land of our forefathers, the land that was promised to Abraham. Read.
Verse 4. And the priest shall take the basket out of thy hand, and set it down before the altar of the Lord thy God.
And so the priest is going to take this basket, they're going to put it to the altar to present it to the Lord. Read.
Verse 5. And thou shalt speak and say before the Lord thy God, a siren ready to perish was my father.
So Assyrian, this is talking about Abraham, because Abraham is a patriarch. He's not an Israelite. I know people like to say that, oh, Abraham, Israelites were not born yet. Israel come from a man named Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. His father, Isaac, was not an Israelite. His grandfather, Abraham, was not an Israelite. Jacob and his 12 sons were Israelites, because Israelites start from Jacob. So it's saying Assyrian here because that's what Abraham was. Abraham was a Semite from Mesopotamia. All right, Mesopotamia is where people call Iraq today, Assyria, Syria, that whole area over there, that was where Abraham was from. That's why I was calling him Assyrian. Read on.
A Syrian ready to perish was my father.
Uh-huh.
And he went down into Egypt and sojourned there with a few and became there a nation.
Right, and I'm sorry, not Abraham, this talking about Jacob. Salaki, y'all, this talking about Jacob. And he went into Egypt, and then what happened to Jacob in Egypt? He became
a sojourner there with a few and became there a nation, great, mighty, and popular.
Right, he became a great, mighty nation because the 12 sons that he actually had 13 sons, actually. It wasn't 12 sons. It was really 13 sons. But one tribe was foretold to not be a tribe, which was the tribe of Levi. The Levites are the priests. The word Levite means joined unto the Lord, meaning the Lord picked that tribe specifically and said, now this one is for me. The rest of y'all good. So even within his chosen, the Lord has a chosen. And Moses come from the tribe of Levi. All right, and in today's time, if Moses was alive, they would call him a Haitian.
There's another level to it. Even of the chosen, you gotta be from a specific bloodline to even go into doing some of the priestly duties.
Yeah, because even within the priesthood, all of the priests are not the same. So you got the nation, the tribe of Levi, all of them are not priests. Some of them are just regular Levites. That's why they having children with Judites and, and other tribes and all of that stuff. Because they're regular Levites. It's not commanded for them to only deal with Levites. But now, the portion of Levites who are priests, they were commanded to not deal with anybody outside of the tribe of Levi. The priests specifically could only deal with a Levite.
Aaron's bloodline?
That was Aaron's bloodline. Aaron's bloodline is the priesthood. Now, even within Aaron's bloodline, there's also still the chosen. This is go crazy. It goes deeper and deeper. Because after Aaron, you had a man named Eleazar. Eleazar was also from Aaron's line, right? He was also related to Aaron. And the Lord said, you know what? Out of all of Aaron's sons, this dude, Eleazar, I'm only going to deal with him and his sons to be the high priest. You understand? Go ahead.
Alright, so let's talk about Aaron. So we talking about the Aaron blood. Right? Who is Aaron's brother?
Who was Aaron's brother?
Right, for the congregation, whoever wants. Aaron's brother.
What you mean?
Aaron, he's the brother of somebody that we all know. We talk about him all the time.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, he's his older brother by 3 years. We're talking about Aaron.
We talking about Moses?
There you go.
Bing! That's the answer.
Let's go.
That's the answer. Moses is Aaron's brother. And Moses did not act as the priesthood. Moses acted in the same capacity of Yahushua, the mediator between God and man. The Bible tells you nobody spoke to God directly except for Moses. There's no other prophet in the Bible besides Christ that could say they spoke to God directly.
Elijah. I can show you script to show it.
Wait, no, you're right. You're right. But that's another story. Don't start nothing, man. You about to start something, man. You about to have me talk about 5 different topics, man. Right, all praises to the Most High. But let's finish this up about Pentecost real quick.
Verse 6. And the Egyptian evil entreated us and afflicted us and laid upon us hard bondage.
So now in Egypt, those 13 sons that Jacob had, they became tribes. Those tribes are like a nation itself. So the Egyptians started saying that like, man, yo, these Israelites is like everywhere now. They everywhere in Egypt. I don't like this. Even though we were living just like them, we was shaving our head bald like them, we was doing everything that they was doing, looked just like them, but they did not view us the same. Because they even understood that your nationality is determined by your father. They don't care how many Egyptian women you done had children with. Those still ain't Egyptians to them. You understand? So they evil and treated us. Read on.
Verse 7. And when we cried unto the Lord God of our father, the Lord heard our voice and looked it on our affliction and our labor and our oppression. And the Lord brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with great turbulence and with signs and with wonders.
Skip down to verse 10.
Verse 10. And now, behold, I have brought the first fruit of the land which thou, O Lord, hast given me.
So the first fruits is your wheat harvest. The first fruits is also the firstborn cattle of any animal that you have. You know, so the firstborn male, actually the firstborn male cattle to open the matrix of any cattle that you have, that also have to be presented. So it's not just the vegetation. And what the Levites would do, they would take all of this grain and stuff that the Israelites is giving them. The whole nation is giving them this stuff now, mind you. And they were responsible of storing it and equally dispersing it amongst the people of need. You had the cities of refuge. The Levites had to take care of those people. You had the widows, the orphans. The Levites had to take care of those people. People fall into trouble, financial problems, the Levites had to take care of those. The money that the Levites were getting was not only for them to take care of themselves, but it was also to take care of the people. The Levites don't have jobs. They're not allowed to go out and have a job like everybody else. So all these grains that we giving them, they have to survive off of that for a whole year. So they had to have the same wisdom that Joseph had in Egypt to be able to store these grains for years and years to come in case a famine happened or anything like that happened for the people to survive. And that's how tithes is supposed to be used. It's not supposed to be used to get a private jet and cars and mansions and all of that stuff. It's not supposed to be used for that at all, you know. And Paul talks about that in the New Testament too, but we're not going to go too far into that. Read on.
And thou shalt set it before the Lord thy God, and worship before the Lord thy God. Verse 11. And thou shalt rejoice in every good thing which the Lord thy God hath given unto thee, and unto thy house, thou and the Levite and the stranger that is among you.
Right, because the Levites also had to take care of the strangers that was amongst us. Because you have to understand, the heathens that came amongst us, they were like second-class citizens. They were not equal to us. But with that being said, some of them was in poverty, needed help. We're not going to let them just be amongst us and die. Like, ain't nobody going to want to be amongst us. Imagine that. Would you want to go to a nation of people that's going to be like, oh, y'all could just die. I'm going to watch you die. Like, nah. We had a welfare system. So for the heathens that were amongst us, for the widows, the orphans, and our people that needed help, this is where they got the help from all of the. Because tithes is only done once a year. I know your pastor, the pastors in the world taught you it's done every week, but it's not. Tithing is done once a year at Pentecost. This is what we're reading now is tithing. This is the true definition of tithing, taking the 10% of what you have and bringing it to the Lord. Read on.
Verse 12. When thou hast made an end of tithing,
when thou hast what?
Made an end of tithing.
So all of that, meaning at the end of bringing all of your tithes to the Lord, your cattle, your food, your grains, you know, and money too. Because some people out here, people are like, oh, tithing is not money. All of that stuff that we bring, that translates to money. Read.
All the tithing of thy increase, the third year, which is the year of tithing.
Right, because when we first came into the land, we had to wait 3 years before we could actually start using the land to farm and grow our own stuff that was presentable for the Lord. Because the heathens had the land of Canaan before us, and they was doing all type of abominable things, you know, as far as worshiping other gods and immoral acts, and also their version of science and witchcraft, you know. So the Lord is like, nah, I don't want y'all to take this land and then all of the stuff that they grew and stuff through their wicked pagan practices, you're going to present that to me. Like, nah, I don't want that. So the Lord said, now wait for 3 years when you get into the land. And then the 3rd year, that's when you start tithing. That's when the system of Pentecost is initiated amongst the nation of Israel. All right? But after that 3 years, it was done every year for now on, ever since then. Right? Read on.
And has given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled.
That's what the tithing is for, not for private jets. So go back to Leviticus 23. So now we understand how we're supposed to celebrate Pentecost, right? We understand that there's 7 Sabbaths, and we understand that we don't start counting the 7 Sabbaths to get to Pentecost until that first day when the sheaf offering is first presented. So pick up where we left off in Leviticus.
Verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. So
now this is all of the stuff that we just read in the other chapters. That was summarized in this one verse here. Read verse 10 and 11 again.
Verse 10. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruit of your harvest unto the priest. Verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it.
Right. So the wave offering that it's talking about is what we just read in Deuteronomy 26. When you present your sheaf offering to the Lord, you recite the prayer of how Jacob was a Syrian who went into Egypt and became a nation and came out, and we came into the land of Israel. You recite that prayer, and then the priest bless you, and then they take your tithing offering. That's how you celebrate Pentecost, right? But now Pentecost is more of a spiritual. Somebody open the door for the sister. But now Pentecost is more of a spiritual significance. So instead of us bringing vegetation and cattle and all of that, what we're bringing is you guys. So the next Pentecost, I'm praying all of y'all still here, because I want all of y'all to be presented to the Lord, all right? Because, y'all fall under the house of Obadiah and myself and others that's here trying to teach this word and push this word. And listen, I know the Lord looking down on us, man, So this is how the Lord wants us to celebrate it. Read on.
Verse 12. And ye shall offer that day when ye wave the sheep and he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering to the Lord.
Read on.
And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingling with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savior.
Right, and a meat offering is pretty much a cake. Like when they say meat, what they really mean is a cake. All right, an unleavened cake. It's not even leavened. There's no yeast in it, because pretty much the meat offerings was for people who couldn't afford to do sacrifices with cattle. Everybody couldn't afford goats, lambs, and thank you, sister, for taking my son. Thank you, appreciate that. Everybody couldn't afford cattle. Some people were poor. The Bible say the poor shall always be with you. So we have to remember that everybody don't have the same pockets. The Lord made it where everybody can make a sacrifice. Even if you couldn't afford a lamb, now you got the meat offering. Say, all right, bake this little unleavened cake and then burn that on the altar for me. Now we don't have to do none of that anymore, because Yahweh Shai has become our offering. So once Yahweh Shai became the offering, no more offerings had to be made. That's what Paul was trying to get people to see in the New Testament. But they didn't see that because the temple was still there. Israelites were still making sacrifices, so they still wanted to do that. But Paul was trying to tell them back then, man, we don't need to do this sacrifice stuff no more. Read on.
And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the fourth part of an hin.
Right, so when it say, let no man judge you in meat or in drink, it's talking about this meat and drink right here. the unleavened cake that you bake, the drink offering, right? The Lord had us have wine, hen, meaning strong liquor, because we didn't just have wine. You know, the Lord said, you read the scripture, we had corn liquor, we had potato liquor. We had some strong drink in the Bible. You know, Israel like to get down. Israel like to get down. So the Lord said, man, take some of that drink and pour that out. Now, in the world, I remember we used to do that, damn near worship of the dead. You know, dead homies. They say, oh, pour out beer for the dead homies. The Lord don't want us doing that. That's a pagan custom too. Yes. Pouring out liquor for the dead homies. But you know it's not a pagan custom? Pouring out liquor for the Most High. That was the drink offering. You poured that on the altar. You poured that on the altar, the whole bottle, not a little. The whole bottle. Read.
Verse 14. And ye shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation.
So the reason why it's saying that because when you first cut the wheat offering down, that's presented for the Lord, and then it's going to take pretty much 7 weeks to grow. So when you count those 7 Sabbaths, you're going to have a full harvest again. That harvest is specifically for the Lord. The Lord said, don't touch that harvest. Don't eat those grains. Present that to the Lord first, and then after Pentecost, you could enjoy that harvest. But the Lord want his first. That's what it comes down to. The Lord want his first. Read on.
In all your dwelling. Verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbath shall be complete.
Read on.
Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days. And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord.
And that's why this feast day is also called Pentecost in the New Testament, because the word penta means 50. So it takes exactly 50 days for you to be able to have this sheaf offering. You understand? So that's why it's called Penta. 7 weeks plus 1 day equals 50 days, hence the name Pentecost. Read on.
Verse 17. Ye shall bring out of your habitation 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals.
So now, the first day is when the first day of Pentecost is just the wave offering and the prayer. But then you count the 7 Sabbaths. When you make it to the 50th day on Pentecost, the 50th day is celebrated different than the first day. The first day, when you start to count, is literally just you presenting all of your sheep offering, do the prayer, that's it. The 50th day is more of a celebration, and instead of you bringing corn and all of this stuff, you're supposed to actually bake bread. When you read about all of the Lord's sacrifices, every sacrifice dealing with the Lord, unleavened bread was presented with it. This is the only time when the Lord asks for leavened bread. And this is crazy. This is the only time in the scriptures where the Lord will ask you to bake leavened bread, an actual regular loaf of bread. And what do he want you to do with it? Read.
They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked with leaven.
They should be baked with what?
With leaven.
So you got to have some type of yeast in it so it can fluff up. Because the Lord wanted to expand. He don't want flat bread. He want real bread. Read on.
They are the first fruits unto the Lord. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year. And 1 young bullock and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offering, even an offering made by fire.
So now we don't have to do those offerings no more. We don't really even have to bake the loaves no more. Even though I know an Israelite congregation up north, they have a real cool tradition that they like to do on Pentecost, where they have a bread challenge. You know, where people try to make the loaf of bread from scratch like this, and then you know, they do like a little contest. If your bread tastes nasty, they throwing it in the fire. You know? One year we were celebrating that thing, and my wife made 2 loaves of bread. And 1 loaf of bread she made, everybody was like, oh my goodness, who made this? And we wasn't saying that. We was just quiet, like, we're not going to say nothing. But then the second loaf, they said, hey, what is this thing? They threw that thing in the fire. My wife was like, oh my goodness. But it's a cool little custom though, you know, but we don't, according to the law, you don't have to do the baking of the 2 loaves of bread anymore, unless you choose to. If you choose to, as long as it's not anything dealing with death or some type of penalty or punishment from the law, then it's okay for you to do it. So if you choose to, it's cool, but it's not commanded for us to do that no more. Read on.
Even an offering made by fire, a sweet savior unto the Lord.
Read on.
Verse 19. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offering. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits, for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest.
So let me correct myself. So that first day, you count that first sheaf that they gave, and then on the 50th day, you also is bringing your wheat offering, that harvest, but you're bringing it with 2 loaves of bread that you baked from that harvest, right? And you're also bringing it with a sacrifice. Read on.
Verse 21. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day, that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwelling throughout your generation.
So that 50th day is treated like a Sabbath because that's a high holy day. All right, so on the 50th day of Pentecost, you're not supposed to work. You're supposed to be being presented to the Lord. You know, like I said, in today's time, we don't have to be bringing all of this vegetation. We don't have to have this place packed with a whole bunch of collard greens and grains and stuff in today's time. But we do have to have it packed with the spiritual sheaf offering, which is us, the people. That's what we got to present to the Lord now. Read on.
Verse 15. And ye shall count unto you. No, that's not.
No, you passed 15. You're in 22.
Okay. Salaki. Verse 22. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corner of the field.
It's right
when
here.
thou
Hold
reapest.
on. Here, water right here. Just ask. You don't have to have an attitude. Ask. Thank you. Read that again.
Verse 22 from the top. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field. When thou reapest.
So now this is a law that is not necessarily well, it is still dealing with the feast days, but it's this law is being presented because of the feast day we talking about, which is Pentecost, dealing with vegetation. When you're gathering your vegetation, whether it's for Pentecost or not, the Lord don't want us reaping the corners of our vegetation. So let's say this is the corner of a garden, this is the corner of a farm, this is the corner, this is the corner. All of these corners, the Lord don't want you taking the harvest from those corners. The Lord wants you to keep your corners filled. Everything else, like everything else in the middle, you're going to harvest, but the Lord wants the corners not to touch it. He's going to explain why. Read.
Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest.
Meaning if you have some vegetation, like let's say some fruit that randomly falls, say once it falls, and don't pick that up. Why? Read.
Thou shalt leave them unto the poor.
They should leave them for what?
Unto the poor.
Read on.
And to the stranger. I am the Lord your God.
So the reason why the Lord didn't want us picking those corners or picking up some of the loose vegetation that fall as we're gleaning the vegetation is because that was the opportunity for the poor to be able to get a meal. That's how the Lord provided for the poor. So let's say you're a stranger, or let's say you're an Israelite. You poor. You walking through Israel hungry, and all of a sudden you walk across this field and you see some nice apples just hanging at the corner of this field. According to the law, you could take it and you could eat it. Now there's other laws in Leviticus that tell you you could have that, but you can't take it to make money off of it. You can't go to somebody's farm and take the corners off and be like, all right, I got apples. 2 for $5. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that, right? Because there are people who try to get rich off of each other, like that. But if you're hungry and you need to feed yourself and feed your family, this was the assurance that nobody goes unfed. The poor could walk past any field and pick vegetation and fruit from these fields. Read on.
Verse 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month.
So now stop. Now we're coming to the feast days that's about to come up. The next new moon is the 7th month. Read it again.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath.
So now that new moon is a Sabbath. Well, all of the new moons is a Sabbath, right? But that new moon in particular, the next one that's coming up, this is a feast day. And it's even the Bible even going to tell you what the title of this feast day is. Read.
A memorial of blowing of the trumpet.
So you don't even call this day like a regular new moon. Like, oh, it's a new moon. No, this new moon is the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. The word memorial means to remember. When you memorialize something, you create something that help you remember. So when we celebrate blowing of the trumpets, we are actually celebrating something to remember the past. And when blowing of the trumpets come, we're going to show you what the Lord wants us to remember. Read on.
And holy convocation.
So it got to be a holy convocation. And convocation means gathering. So you have to be able to come together and gather. Read on.
Verse 25. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
So on blowing of the trumpets, if y'all could get the day off, get the day off. If you're able to, But I know like with my previous job, I was there so long, I had so much vacation time and sick time and all type of PTO time. So feast days never was a problem for me back then. I'll take the whole week off for feast days, but I do know like when you first start in a job, you don't start off with all of those days and stuff, So some people have to use their days wisely. They only got but so many days out of the year. So you might want to say, hey, I might not be able to take off for blowing of the trumpet, but let me make sure I got off for atonement. Because I have to pick and choose my battles. Me, I would choose atonement. I'm definitely taking off for atonement. You don't want to work on Day of Atonement. If you have to work a feast day, then work on blowing of the trumpets, but not atonement. Read on.
Verse 26. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
So now, Day of Atonement is what I was just talking about. Yom Kippur. To atone is to do what? To change your ways to get forgiveness of your sins. So atonement is not like a regular feast day. The other feast days are more joyous and we get like a lesson and then it's cool and we all just chill, drink wine, and eat. This feast day, you ain't even eating. You ain't even eating. You ain't even drinking. There ain't no happiness on this day. Why? Read.
It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your soul.
Ye shall do what?
Afflict your soul.
Ye shall do what?
Afflict your soul.
So when you afflict, that's not a good thing. To afflict your soul is to bring pain to yourself. Now, we ain't telling nobody go out there and slice yourself or nothing like that. The Bible actually tell you what it means to afflict your soul. Go to Isaiah 58. Because we don't want nobody harming themselves out here. We want people to know what the Lord means when he say afflict your soul. Go to 58 and go to verse 10.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 10. And if thou draw out thy soul to the hunger.
To the what?
To the hungry.
Read on.
And satisfy the afflicted soul. Then shall thy light rise in a scar.
Hold on. Go to verse 5. Start from verse 5.
Isaiah 58:5. Is it such a fast that I have chosen?
So the Lord have a particular fast that he chose that he want us to do no matter what. You could fast any day of the year, but the Lord said there's one particular day he want us to fast. So he's asking the Israelites at this time, like, what type of fast are y'all doing? Is this the fast that I asked for? Read.
A day for a man to afflict his soul.
A day for a man to do what?
Afflict his soul.
So that's what it means to afflict your soul. The Lord want us to fast. And to fast means you don't eat or drink anything. Because some people are like, oh, there's a fruit fast, a water fast, and all of that. All of those are not like, they're not a biblical fast. A biblical fast is literally no water, no food. That's it. You know, I remember in the world, when I was studying Islam, Islam have an extreme version of fasting. So when I came into the truth, I was so happy when I learned what fasting really was. In Islam, fasting is similar to what the Bible say, no water, no food, but they take it to a whole nother level. They say you can't even swallow your own saliva. I'm serious. I was over there celebrating Ramadan for 40 days. Like, I gotta spit. Can't even swallow your saliva. That is ridiculous. That's not what the Bible says. It just says you can't eat food or drink anything. That's it. Right? Go back to Leviticus. We just wanted to show people what afflicting your soul means. And read where we left off.
Verse 27. Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your soul and offer an offer made by fire unto the Lord.
Right. So the first day of the 7th month is blowing of the trumpets, and then 10 days after that is Day of Atonement where we fast. Read on.
Verse 28. And ye shall do no work in that same day.
You don't want to work while you fasting. You know, I remember I was fasting for 3 days, and on the 3rd day I had to, my car broke down. You know, Satan attack you when you fasting, just so y'all know. Because fasting is like a spiritual phone call to the Most High. Just like praying is a phone call to the Most High. When you fast, that's like the emergency phone call to the Most High. Because that's like you telling the Lord, like, I'm going to kill myself if you don't talk to me, Lord. See me, come see me, Lord. That's pretty much what you're saying. You understand? So read that part again.
And ye shall do no work in that same day.
So you don't want to be working on that day because Satan will attack you. You know, when you start fasting and you're trying to communicate to the Most High, Satan starts sending all type of temptation. Like for example, when I used to fast, I wouldn't just abstain from food and water. I would abstain from even like entertainment and stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't watch TV. I wouldn't be listening to the radio and none of that stuff, right? But Satan to tempt you, man. You get in that car, soon you turn the car on, all of a sudden radio pop on, some crazy wicked music, and Satan will come at you here and make things happen to try to make you break your fast. I was on my 3rd day, my car broke down on me. I had to get it towed. I was pushing my car, weak then. I was like, man, I was like, the sun need to hurry up and cut down. I was counting the hours of the day. I was looking at the sun like 4 hours, 3 hours left. So when Day of Atonement comes, it's going to be rough, especially if you're not used to fasting. If you don't fast on a regular basis, then fasting for one day is going to be very hard for you. You know, because I remember my first time fasting. You know, I was like, when I was a Muslim, it was difficult for me. But then I got used to it. Then when I came into the truth, I was like, man, I'm used to fasting. This is nothing to me. So when I learned about Day of Atonement, I would fast more than one day because for me, one day of fasting is not afflicting my soul. But for somebody else, it is. Because if you never fasted before and you used to following, like your body has a mind of its own, just so y'all know. Go to Romans chapter 7 real quick. I'm going to show you your body, your stomach, your flesh has a mind of its own. So don't think that, oh, not eating for one day is going to be easy. It's not. Your body being so used to just being fed whenever it's asked is going to go crazy. You're going to be like, man, my stomach never did this before. Telling you, go to Romans chapter 7 and let me see real quick where I want you to start from. Start from verse 21.
The book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 21. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
Right, so whenever you want to do good, evil is always present. You want to come over here for the Sabbath day and worship the Lord, trust me, evil is present. I bet you every single last one of y'all had a battle before y'all got down here. Satan trying to stop you from getting here. Trust me when I tell you that. Anytime you're trying to do something for the Most High, Satan is right there next to you, trying to find a way to deter you away from it. Read on.
Verse 22. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man.
Man, is that Paul saying that he delight in the law of God? I thought Paul wasn't a law keeper. I thought Paul told everybody not to keep the law. This sounds like something different. Paul said he desired to keep the law. But what? Read.
But I see another law in my memory, warring against the law of my mind.
So inside the members of his body, he realized, wait a minute, my mind and my flesh, they're different. My mind is saying, hey, keep the Sabbath day, don't eat pork, lobster, crab, shrimp, you know. But my flesh is saying, lobster, crab, shrimp smell good right now. That's what my flesh is saying, you know. So so this is the war that you got. Don't think that just because you come into the truth like, oh, my body gonna do whatever I tell it to do. No, it won't. You ever tried to work out after you haven't worked out in a very long time? Your body be like, you know, because when I was younger, me, my brother, my cousins, we used to work out. Like my older cousins did not play. They'd come home, they'd be like, yo, take that shirt off, get these weights. My older cousins used to make me and my brothers work out. You understand? But then I remember, you know, a couple of them got locked up, they ain't around, you just start relaxing. I went a little while without working out. Then my cousin came home from jail all big and buff. And he's like, come on. And the stuff that I used to do, I can't do it. Say, man, you got soft, man. What are you doing? Your body has a mind of its own. Your body get used to relaxation, comfortability, coming home, sitting in front of the TV. Your body get used to that. When you try to tell your body to do something different, your body gonna be like, no. You like, come on, man, eat this celery. No. I want cake. No. No, the celery, man. Eat the celery. No, I want cake. I want double chocolate cake. Your body has a mind of its own. Read on.
And bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my memory. O wretched man that I am.
Go back to Leviticus. So Paul talked about this constant battle between his mind and his body. You understand? And that's the battle that each and every one of us have to deal with every day. Each one of us, our battles might be different, but we still have the battle. So when you come for a Day of Atonement and you ready to fast and it's your first time fasting, just know that soon when you wake up that morning, your stomach gonna be growling, and your stomach ain't never growled before when you woke up that morning. But for whatever reason, a Day of Atonement, when you wake up, your nose smell bacon and eggs, your stomach is like, feed me, and you're like, why is this happening? Because the moment your mind said, I'm gonna fast, your body already said, we're gonna fight against this. It's just like when somebody getting off of drugs or alcohol, it's the same thing happens. The time was, let's say somebody an alcoholic, right? The alcoholic says, man, I gotta put this drink down, man. Starting tomorrow, I ain't gonna drink. And first thing in the morning. Didn't you say tomorrow you wasn't gonna drink? Oh man, I forgot. Your body do something different. It's a fight every day. Your mind versus your body. Read on in Leviticus.
The book of Leviticus, chapter
23
and verse 27. Also on the 10th
Oh
day.
no, it was 28.
And ye shall, verse 28, and ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God.
Right, so the purpose of that day is to make an atonement before the Lord. Now, Yahushua already made the atonement for us. Go to Romans 5 and 8. And because he made the atonement for us, you get a lot of Christians that get this idea that we don't have to celebrate the Day of Atonement anymore because Yahushua made the atonement for us. But I look at it the total opposite. Because Christ made the atonement for us, that's even more reason why we should celebrate the Day of Atonement. To show us that we're grateful for the atonement that he made for us. Khan. That's how I see it too. Read that when you got it.
The book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 8. But God commanded his love toward us, in that, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Verse 9. Much more then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. Verse 10.
So Yahushua made the atonement for us, and through his blood, we saved from the wrath through him. All right? So I don't want people thinking that we're keeping this in the mind frame of the law. We're keeping this in the mind frame of Christ, because we acknowledge the atonement that he made for us. And we acknowledge it by following the Day of Atonement, because that was the law that was a shadow of his death to come. Read on. And go back to Leviticus. Sorry. Hold it. Wait, hold it. No, come here. Lay down. Read where we left off at in Leviticus.
In Leviticus, verse 28. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. Verse 29. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day.
So now whoever don't afflict their soul, right? If you don't do the fast, if you don't mourn, what's going to happen? Read.
He shall be cut off from among his people.
So he should be cut off from among his people. You know? And some people, they don't believe that afflicting your soul is fasting. I do, so I just pray for them. But, you know, I'm not about to force nobody or make somebody think a certain way, right? But one thing for sure, you supposed to be mourning on that day. So for somebody who don't believe you have to fast on that day, you definitely shouldn't be watching TV, football, listening to hip hop and all that. That stuff you should be doing. And I've seen that where some people be like, oh, we don't got to fast on that day. We just got to mourn. But then I'm with them and they not mourning at all. I'm like, I'm done. I'm good. You understand? Now me, the way I'm going to mourn based off of Isaiah 58, where it said to fast is to afflict your soul. You know, I can't force nobody else to worship the same way, but I'm just telling you how it was taught to me, how I'm teaching it to you guys. You understand? It's up to y'all to do it if y'all choose that's right or not.
Is he not worth it?
Huh?
Is he not worth it?
The person?
Yeah. Is it not worth to do?
Yeah.
Is it not worth to do? Yeah. No, it's worth to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that'd be my simple question to those who say, I know we're supposed to fast, but I ain't gonna do it. I mean,
man.
What song?
you know that he see your heart.
Yeah.
You're not tricking him.
Yeah.
So this is the ultimate test of reborn.
Yeah. Man, listen.
You should look forward to it.
What you,
I look forward to it.
Before, yeah, like even now.
Yeah.
You should be thinking of, hey, we got to do a fast here.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Because I know you devil, you finna start working, but I'm gonna do this fast.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for the Most High.
Yeah, and let me tell you, man, with all of the sins that we do throughout the day, you definitely should be looking forward to atonement. I don't see why you wouldn't want to follow a day where your sins throughout the whole year is wiped clean.
Come on, man.
That's what atonement is saying. You celebrate atonement, and all of the sins that you did throughout that year is wiped clean. You got a clean slate through Yahweh Shah.
Why wouldn't you want to do it?
Why wouldn't you want to do it? That's my question too.
Come on, man.
That's my question too. Let's continue reading in Leviticus.
Verse 30. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people.
So that's why you don't want to work on that day. Because the Lord said anybody who do any work on that day, the Lord will cut you off from my people. Cut off meaning you dead. Like, so back in that day, people literally got stoned to death. If they got caught doing these things on these days, there was no mercy and grace for that. Like, you couldn't be on Day of Atonement doing whatever you want. People would stone you. Brother Gabari.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at this. It said that same soul. This ain't talking about the body. It's talking about your soul. So would this not be a judgment?
Yeah.
This is a judgment after the resurrection, whether you're going to get the crown on your head and have the good words, good job, my good and faithful servant, or you hear the words.
That's the scary part right there, is that when you look at it spiritually, because in ancient times, it was physical. You physically would die. But in today's time, you ain't physically dying for not keeping atonement.
Right.
But you know what's happening? The Lord is keeping track in that judgment.
Yes.
It's there on Judgment Day. So now, imagine being cut off on that day. You're not going to make it into the kingdom of heaven? Like, that right there is serious. That would make me want to keep this Day of Atonement more than anything.
All because you didn't want to say, hey, for the last, all my sins I did, I ain't going to do it for one day. I'm not going to, I'm not going to.
For one day.
You know
For
better.
1 day.
For 1 day.
And you sleep 8 hours of that day. So it's really
Right. It's not even a full 24 hours. Yeah. You sleep about 8 hours of that day.
and your faith is being tasted.
Yep.
I feel what you were just saying about verse 30, because in verse 29 it says, for whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people, meaning that he gonna kill him, he gonna take him away from his people, right? So that, but in verse 30 it said, and whatsoever soul it be, that same person he just took from among good people, that same soul in the next life, do it any work in that same day, that same soul will I destroy from among his people. So
Yeah.
that's basically what you just said.
Yep.
Ain't nothing to play around with.
And
That blasphemy.
you know, most of our people wouldn't care about afflicting their soul. You know, we got the 2/3, you know, they don't care about afflicting their soul. So that go back to what I was telling him about the same thing, consider. They don't consider who they are. They don't consider try to find out what they need to be doing to save their soul. You know, that's the thing that we trying to teach, to get our people to save their soul.
Exactly.
You know, we can't hold your hand and save your soul for you. You got to work your own salvation out
There
yourself.
you go.
And it starts with what I be saying, that the choice that you make once you wake up to who you are, it's either you're going to grab your roots and be like a tree, or you're going to be like a tumbleweed and go whichever way the wind blows and pick up everybody else's stuff. So when you get your identity, you put your roots in the ground. Then what happens with a tree? It grows, and the more you learn, you get a sturdier trunk to it. You start to go through your walls, you get good part. It's your scars, because you're going to be tested.
Yeah.
As you continue to grow and get more knowledge and understanding, you grow out like a tree.
Yep.
The more people you teach, it's going to be the fruits that you bear.
Mm.
And the people that they teach are the fruits of the seeds that come from
Yep.
the tree that you got from you learning who you are.
Yep.
Oh, praise it.
Growing for the Most High. That's how it goes. And you teach your kids and the generations that come from behind that, they teach their kids and they only teaching them the way, the truth of all the other ways in the world. So that's the fruit of the labors from coming into the knowledge. And actually, we the ones that's breaking the chains because we the first ones in our generations that's saying, hey, I'm not going to do Christmas. I'm not doing Thanksgiving. I'm not doing them on pagan days. I'm not doing what the world say. I'm doing what this say here. And then actually teaching your kids and teaching your families having a Sabbath day. We the first generation, I believe, that's actually doing this for real, for real. We're doing it for the Most High. Not for no people, not for no fame.
Yep.
We're doing it for real for the Most High. All praise to the Most High.
Remember he did say it's gonna be a generation that gonna come back to this.
Yes.
And start doing these things. And this is the generation, and it's the same generation that all these things that gonna happen in too. It's the same thing.
All right. Let's continue on.
Verse 31. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation.
So then that's another reason why we still celebrate it. Because the Lord is not a man that he shall lie. So if he said this is going to be a commandment forever, then we still supposed to be doing it.
All right.
Read.
In all your dwellings. Verse 32. It shall,
that which means this is not one of those things you can only celebrate in Jerusalem. Right. This says all your dwellings. If you in captivity in Babylon, if you in captivity in America, if you in captivity in Assyria, anywhere we at, we supposed to be keeping this day.
Now, when it says that this is supposed to be for a statute forever throughout all your generations and all your dwellings, so if you say you don't want to do it, then are you not his people? Like not all Israel or
not all Israel.
If you keeping his commandments, then you like not keeping the covenant. So what would that be like?
You stiff neck.
Stiff neck.
Like Israel always was.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Are they not the same ones that he destroyed out that wanted to go back to the land of Egypt?
Right, I mean,
You know what I mean?
the Most High, he said choices.
Choices.
And you know, if you chose to follow me, this is what you receive. If you don't, this is what you're gonna receive. There wasn't no in between with him. You know what I'm saying? So he knew exactly. That's why he created Esau and both. He knew what he was gonna have to do.
Yeah, the Lord already knew. Like just like when he told us the curses, and then originally he said, if you keep these commandments, you get these blessings. If you don't, you get these curses. But then after that, like the very next chapter, he says but I know that you're gonna break the commandment.
I mean, you think when he first
And he obviously knew, because from verse 15 to 68 is curses. And only from verse 1 to 14 is blessings. So the Lord already knew what Israel was going to do, man.
He is, the Lord is not, the Most High is not inside of his creation. He's above his creation.
Exactly.
That's why he can look into the future
Yep.
and put in the book what was going to happen.
Yep. Even while we still had a free will.
There you go.
He's like, y'all got free will, but I know what you're going to
You
do,
already
so
know.
it ain't
I already know
real.
what
So
you
it ain't
gonna
even
do.
real free will.
I already know what you're gonna do.
Power. You can't fathom.
Yeah.
You can't fathom the Most High's power.
No, you can't.
Oh,
You
man.
can't.
Oh,
Cut. Hey, for all y'all online, I'm sorry if y'all can't hear some of the people talking, but you know, people in the congregation is making comments. If y'all not hearing it, then just so y'all know. Let's continue on in Leviticus with the rest of the feast days.
Verse 32. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your soul in the 9th day of the month at eve. From eve until eve shall ye celebrate your Sabbath.
So now, just in case anybody was unclear of when exactly the fast is supposed to start, the Lord got very, very specific in detail to say, well, the 24-hour is from eve to eve, and the eve is going to start on the 9th day and end on the 10th day. So now nobody could get confused of when the fast actually starts. it start at the evening of the 9th day, even though the Bible says it's on what day? The 10th day. So when does it end? At the evening of what?
The 10th.
The 10th day. So in other words, it's a 24-hour fast, from evening to evening.
Now y'all gotta remember that when he said that Eve, y'all know that in the beginning of time that he said from Eve to Eve, that the day start that Eve. That's why he said that 9th day. That 10th day really do start that Eve.
Don't, Brother Mark, I understand, brother. We understand.
Yeah,
No slight, brother. Nehemiah, you had to throw that cut in there, like, is it?
I was sitting there saying that. I was sitting there like, man, he started something.
But no slight, brother. I
don't mean no harm, Mark.
Right. And the reason why we saying that, because out of respect for the brother Gabaria, to his understanding, the way he reads the scriptures, the days start at sunrise. The 24-hour day start at sunrise for him. So that's why we have to make it clear to him that we're not trying to stomp on nothing like that. You know what I mean?
I'm sitting down there.
Yeah.
What is he doing? When you did that, I said,
Con. Right, and we'll even do a day where you can do that.
Knock on his stuff.
But yeah, let's continue on though. Let's continue on.
Verse 33. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles.
So now after Day of Atonement, because the first day of the 7th month is blowing of the trumpets. The 10th day of the 7th month is Day of Atonement. And the 15th day, now we're on the 15th day of the 7th month, and all of this is all in the same month. All right, so this is our holy month. It's what?
The Feast of Tabernacles.
The Feast of Tabernacles. This is my favorite feast so far, y'all.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie to you. For years, it was Passover and unleavened bread. But then in my later years of the truth has been this, Tabernacles. All of the feasts is great. I'm going to be honest with you. All of the feasts is great if you as a people make it great. You understand? We can make every single feast that we are reading about right now great. But I have a personal attachment to Day of Atonement, and that's, that's my prejudice. To not Day of Atonement, Tabernacles. That's my prejudice. It's like that's me and my wife, first one. That's like, listen, that's the thing right there, And you're about to understand why it's our favorite, because when we read how we're supposed to celebrate Feast of Tabernacles, you'll see what I mean. Read.
The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacle for 7 days unto the Lord.
So this is another celebration for 7 days, all right? Feast of Unleavened Bread was for 7 days. So is Feast of Tabernacles. Read on.
Verse 35. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So the first day is like a Sabbath. You're not supposed to work on the first day of Tabernacles, because the first day of Tabernacles is actually a holy convocation. It's the same thing we're doing here. We're supposed to have an actual service on the first day, because the celebration is for 7 days. So you have 7 days to party, have fun, drink, music, all of that stuff. But the first and the last day is always for the Lord with the celebration. Because you have to understand what you're celebrating. You can't be partying for 7 days and then they're like, well, what's the party for? I don't know. Nah, you gotta know what the celebration is about. That's why the first and the last day is always for the Lord. The first day is a service, the last day is a service. But in between, that's for us, y'all. We got bring the grills out, and all of that. But let's get into it. Read on.
Verse 36. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by the fire unto the Lord.
Bring the grills out. Read on.
On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you.
But the 8th day is a holy convocation. So This one is actually 8 days, but the 8th day is not a party day. It's the same as the first. It is Sabbath, spiritual ritual. Read on.
And ye shall offer an offer made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly.
Right. A solemn assembly means something serious. You know, and all of these feast days are solemn and serious. Read on.
And ye shall do no servile work therein.
Right. No work for hire. Read on.
These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation.
So those are the feasts for the whole year, according to Leviticus 23. But let's read how we supposed to keep this last feast, which is Tabernacles. Read on.
To offer an offer made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offering, everything upon his day. Beside the Sabbath of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vow, and beside all your free will offering, which ye give unto the Lord.
Right. So the Lord is saying these are the mandatory feast days besides all of the other celebrations and occasions that you read about in the Bible. Because when you read the Bible, there's Purim, there's Hanukkah, there's Day of Judas, Day of Simon. There's a couple of other feasts in the Bible that you don't read here. But these are the ones that's literally commanded from the beginning for us to celebrate. The other stuff you can celebrate, like new moons, we celebrate every month. You understand? We celebrate Hanukkah too, right? But as far as keeping the laws of God, these are the must. And everything else, you should still do it, but if you can't do it, it's okay. But these are the ones that it's like you have to do it. Read on.
Verse 39. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land.
So remember, I told y'all, all of our feasts are based off of nature, right? So Pentecost is dealing with the first fruits, the first vegetation, and all of that stuff. That's Pentecost. But now, what happened to vegetation overall by the time you start getting to the fall? What happened to vegetation? Start dying down. So now, Feast of Tabernacles is the ingathering. It's the last harvest. All of the vegetation that you're growing, this is your last chance to bring everything in. That's what Feast of Tabernacles is about. It's that last harvest. Spiritually, that's the people that haven't came into the truth yet. They're the last harvest. That's why we work hard to go to the street and preach. Try to make sure we have a location that people could come to where they feel comfortable to understand the scriptures and try to initiate it in their lives and all of that. That's for them because they are the last harvest. We're already in it. You understand? The Lord said, look, I'll give you a penny a day. Right? And we done worked all of the hours, but that 11th hour, that's that last ingathering that the Lord is bringing in. Read on.
Ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
Right. Read on.
Verse 40. And ye shall take you on the first day the bow of the goodly trees.
So now this is how you're supposed to celebrate Tabernacles. You're supposed to take branches of trees, and not just any branches, but nice, thick, strong branches that you could do things with. Read on.
Branches of palm trees.
You could take palm trees, read.
And the bow of thick trees. And willows of the brook.
Right, willows are like, willows are something special, man. You know, if y'all ever seen a willow tree, it just look like it's just hanging down, you know. And when you take those pieces of the branches of willow tree, they don't die once you take them off of the tree. Because all you got to do is just put those branches right back into the ground. And then they start growing again. And the funny thing about willow, they're bendable. You can shape them into different shapes. You can take those branches, shape them into different shapes. The Lord is mentioning these branches for a reason. Read.
And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
Toby. Read that part again.
And ye shall rejoice, 40 from the top. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of the goodly tree, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
So all of those branches, these different type of branches, and when you read for other scriptures to tell you more, like the evergreen tree and all of that stuff, we supposed to take these branches and celebrate. Now, how were we supposed to celebrate? Hold this and go to the book of Nehemiah. Book of Nehemiah. And go to chapter 8. And Nehemiah is like around Kings and all of that stuff in the Old Testament. It's not like, it's like in the beginning stages of the Old Testament, kind of like right after Ezra or something like that. And go to chapter 8.
Start with what verse?
Let's see. Start with verse
9,
Start with verse 6.
6.
Actually, no. Read verse 1 first.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 1. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate.
Right. So what's happening here, during this time, Israel was just leaving captivity. The Persians allowed us to go back home. So people like Ezra, Nehemiah, we were trying to get the nation back together. Because some people didn't want to leave Persia. No, they got used to being in a heathen state of mind. So people, and then some of the people who did come back, they came back with heathen customs. So now there's a purge happening where the leaders of Israel is like, yo, we have to rededicate ourselves back to the Lord because we came out of this captivity not knowing who we are, living like heathens. We need to get back to Israel. Read on.
And they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, before both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding.
Read on.
Upon the first day of the 7th month.
Upon what?
The first day of the 7th month.
Upon what?
First day of the 7th month.
Who could tell me what feast day is the first day of the 7th month? Trumpets. God. Blowing of the trumpets. So this is how they celebrated blowing of the trumpets. They coming out of captivity. They said, man, forget the wine, forget the drinks, forget the food. Everybody, come here, gather up in the street. And they held camp right there in front of the congregation in the street. The same way how when y'all look at these YouTube videos, y'all see Israelites and then they churches be sitting on the side with little chairs and everything, and then they preaching out to the public. That's what they did. They preached to the public of Israel while the people who was worshiping God stayed there in front of them and actually sat down and listened to the words of God, while random people walked past them, not knowing their nationality, not caring about blowing of the trumpets, and Nehemiah and Ezra was blasting it.
Would it be safe to say that when they was having this, bringing out the book of the law, talking to the people, both men and women, that they was actually saying, well, hey, I know we coming out this captivity, but we got to return to our Lord, our God, and his rules and commandments. Now let's talk about what we can and can't eat. Dietary law. Boom.
Oh yeah, it's very safe to say that. In fact, the proof of that is skip down to verse 8. No, start from verse 6.
Verse 6. And Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting up their hands, and they bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord with their face to the ground. Also Joshua and Benai and Shabbat.
Skip down to verse 8. What that verse is letting you know is like how they set up the camp, because they had people, they had one person was teaching, another person was reading, and then you had people around them where one was holding posts and all of that. Similar, when you see Israelites and the way we teach on the street, the reason why you see us in the similar patterns is because we base it based off of this, what we read. So we didn't just decide out of the blue like, oh man, wear garments that look like this and stand on the little podium and have somebody be a reader and say, that's right. You know, we didn't make that up, but we read it and was like, let's imitate that. You understand? So that's pretty much what you're reading. Read verse 8.
Verse 8. So they read in the book, in the law of God distinctly.
Distinctly meaning carefully, and did what?
And gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading.
So yes, they did do that. They did stop people and say, hey man, you know you're not supposed to be eating that, right? Go to Leviticus. Now they didn't have chapters and verses like we do now. That's a new thing that happened during the time like of King James. But they knew those scriptures to be able to go and find the place in the scripture and say, see that right there? What that say? This is how you're supposed to be doing it. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 9. And Nehemiah, which is the
skip down to verse verse 14.
Verse 14. And they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths.
They should what?
Dwell in booths.
They should what?
Dwell in booths.
In
the feast of the 7th month.
So the feast that they're talking about is the Feast of Tabernacles. Those branches that the Lord said you're supposed to celebrate with for 7 days, you actually use those branches to make booths. A booth is a tent. So you're actually supposed to camp out in homemade tents. You know, we buy the tents from Walmart, pop it up, it's all easy and all of that, right? But in ancient times, you actually made your tents. You took the willow branches, you took the evergreen branches, the palm trees and all that stuff, and you built a tent. And then you were supposed to live in that tent for 7 days. And what else? Read.
And that they should publish and proclaim in all their city and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount and fetch olive branches.
So now they naming other branches that Leviticus didn't name. Say, go get the olive branches. These are branches that actually have vegetation that you can eat olives off of it. Imagine living in a tent and then you just have to go like this, like, just grab something off the branch and eat. Read.
And pine branches, and myrrh branches, and palm branches, and branches of thick trees to make booths, as it is written.
So that's what you're supposed to do with those branches. You're supposed to make the booths, make tents. Read on.
So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, everyone upon the roof of his house.
So now you're supposed to live in those booths, but you could do it at your house. You don't have to go to a campsite in the middle of nowhere and try to live raw like, you know. Some people did it on top of their roofs, porches, their steps, their backyards, their front yards. They actually made tents there and did what? Read.
And in their courts. And in the...
Wait, hold on. Tobiah. Thank you. Continue reading.
And in their courts. And in the courts of the house of God.
So the courts is like your backyard, your front yard. They made tents in their backyards and their front yards, and they dwelt in those tents. Read on.
And in the streets of the water gate.
Because like back in Israel and Jerusalem, you came all the way down from wherever you was from to go to Jerusalem. You ain't had money for a hotel, but guess what? We was commanded to dwell in booths for a whole week. You didn't need a hotel. Just make the tents. Do it right here in front of the temple. Right there in the court. When people walk down to get to the temple to worship at, you're going to see my booth right there. That's what they was doing. Read.
And in the street of the gate of Ephraim.
Read on.
And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths. And sat under the booth. For since the days of Joshua, the son of Nun.
Right, and it's funny that you pronounce it like that. Jeshua, which is Joshua, right? He has the same name as Jesus. That's why we know, according to the New Testament, we don't call him Jesus because in English his name really would be Joshua, you know. But the translation in the New Testament don't come from Hebrew, it comes from Greek. So it translated different. So Joshua name in the New Testament is actually Jesus. And there's a lot of people in the New Testament with the same name, Jesus, you know. But in English, it's really supposed to be Joshua, you know. But this is talking about the actual Joshua. From the time that we entered the land with Joshua, what? Read.
The son of Nun unto that day had not the children of Israel done so, and there was very great gladness.
So in other words, they were not keeping the law for generations. You talking about from the time that they entered Israel from Joshua up until the time that they came out of captivity from the Persians. They have not been keeping the commandments to live in those booths. So we are not the first ones. Y'all don't have to feel bad. They're like, man, how could we not know all of this time? And we're here in America. Don't feel bad. Our people went through that before.
His mercy endured forever.
His mercy endured forever. And look, and there was, Christ didn't die on the cross yet back then. So they should have been put to death. But like the brother Mark said, his mercy endureth forever. Even before Yahweh's death, the Most High was putting out that mercy. Because man, for generations y'all didn't keep it. Generations. Man, the Lord got mercy on us. Read on.
Verse 18. Also day by day, from the first day until the last day, he read in the book of the law of God. And they kept the feast 7 days, and on the 8th day was a solemn assembly according unto the manner.
So go back to Leviticus. So that's how you're supposed to celebrate tabernacles. You're supposed to live in booths for 7 days. So all of that celebration you're having that celebration while you at camp. You know, the other feasts, you be at home for 7 days. But this is the only feast where you are commanded to be in the tent. So you could be at home, but you gotta be living in the tent at your home, you know. Some people put the tent in front of their house, in back of their house, on top of their house. You know, some people probably put it in their house, but I would say, you know, I don't know about that. But Mark?
So I see this as 7 days as in Monday through, let's say Sunday through Saturday. 7 days Sabbath.
Yep.
Sunday would be the 8th day. That'd be like y'all get together.
Yep.
So you don't have to go stay in the tent.
No, the 8th day you don't have to stay in the tent because it's over by then.
Gotcha.
So only thing you're doing on the 8th day is just gathering and pretty much having that service to close it out, and that's it.
So then with the days.
No, go ahead, say it the way you say it though. Like, don't worry about it.
Like if we was go to work, right? We go to work for 7 days. Or 6 days. 7 days. Well, in this case, we got 7 days. We'll do the feast. So that day, starting from Monday, that night, we were sleeping in the tent all the way until Saturday.
And then that 8th day, that Sunday, you don't go to work.
Right. You just on the 8th day, you just show up and we'll have like a convocation.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty
So,
much.
Pretty much it's 7 nights. You sleep in tents.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. There you go. 7 nights you sleep in the tent, but that 8th day, that's it. It's just closed out. You know, it's a beautiful celebration. Camping out together, you learn a lot about each other. You know, and the scriptures say you want to learn who you labor with, because this is a labor to push the word of God and to bring more people into the truth. This is a labor, and you do want to know who you labor with. So it's good to do the camping out. We do understand that some people might not be ready, or some people probably not able in some form or fashion. I don't understand everybody's situation, you know, but this is a commandment. It is commanded for us to do it, you know, and everybody should be encouraged to do it, you know, and if you can't, we're not condemning nobody either. But as we saw, other people during Nehemiah time, they were so eager to do it that they even did it in their homes. You understand? They even did it in their homes. So we're not telling people to make your own tents or nothing like that. Y'all can buy the tent from Walmart. It's okay. In fact, the first time I actually camped out, because when I came into the truth, nobody was doing it. Nobody, like, a lot of Israelites now do it. It's beautiful. I love it. But when I first came into the truth, there was no Israelites doing it. No Israelites was camping out at all, unless you was a Yisraelite, but as far as like the ones teach like myself, about the 12 tribes and all of that, nobody was doing it, and I remember it used to be the same thing every year, like, oh, we do it in our hearts, and then I remember when my wife came into the truth, and after some time, my wife just said, so if we supposed to live in booths, then why we just don't go live in a booth? And I was like, well, we bought a little canopy tent, brought it to the park, and we did it for like a few hours, But then my wife was like, nah, I think we supposed to be living in it, you know what I mean? So she said that, and ironically, we ran into a brother from Brooklyn that I knew for years in the truth. And they've always been doing it, their whole life, his grandfather taught them the truth, and he was pretty much raised in the truth. So they've been doing it their whole life already. So they invited us out, and when I tell you, we camped out with them for the first night, we was turned out from there. We've been camping out ever since. Sometimes we don't even want to wait the tabernacles. Sometimes we don't want. My son, he loves tents. I have to put that tent out almost every day in my house, So it's definitely encouraged for us to do so. The brother Cedric got land for us to do it. We don't even have to pay to have a location to do it, which a lot of people up north, that's what they got to do. We will pay hundreds of dollars for camp locations to be able to camp out and invite others to camp out. And down here, y'all have the privilege of somebody having land and letting us do it for free when they land, And not only that, but y'all have the privileges of your own houses as well, where y'all have backyards, front yards. Up north, we don't really got that. Even when you have a house up north, you really don't got a backyard. Your backyard is probably from the space of where I'm at to where y'all at. You could go like this and touch both sides of your backyard up north. So the beautiful thing is y'all actually have houses where y'all have courtyards, like we just read in Nehemiah, where you could buy tents and just be in your backyard if you have to, But however you can, in whatever form you're able to, definitely try to keep the commandments. And was that the last verse in Leviticus, or was it more?
There's more.
Let's finish out.
Verse 40. And ye shall take you on the first day the bow of goodly tree branch of palm trees, and the bow of thick tree, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generation.
It says the statute forever. How long?
In your generation.
In your generations. Meaning every generation. Meaning even if you're in captivity. Don't listen to people saying you can't keep the feast days if you're not in the land. That is a lie. The only thing we can't keep as far as feast days not in the land is Pentecost, because of the vegetation, and we all got to bring it all to Jerusalem. But the first time we ever celebrated Passover, we were not in our land. The first time we ever celebrated Passover, we were in captivity. So don't believe these people saying you can only celebrate the feast days in the land. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. We just read all your dwellings throughout time in your generation. Read on.
Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths.
Meaning, if other people want to do it, they could do it, but it's commanded for us to do it. That's the difference. Read.
That your generation may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God.
And the Lord wants us to remember that. That's the reason why. That's why it's called memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. Because it's to remember when we were in the wilderness. So blowing of the trumpets is like a trumpet to prepare you for what? Atonement. To get yourself right spiritually. Then when you're right spiritually through atonement, now you can enter into the wilderness. Now you enter into the tabernacles. Because if we remember what the Israelites did in the wilderness, we know that we want to be the opposite of that. Because the Israelites were wicked in the wilderness. Moses split the Red Sea, did all these miracles, and they say, oh, we hungry. They imagine eating bread that tastes like whatever you want it to taste like.
Yeah.
And then still telling Moses, we want meat. We hungry. Like, what? You got angels food and you hungry? Complaining about water. The Lord then opened the ground and did all of this stuff. And y'all like, oh, we want water. The Lord brought us out here to die. That's why the Lord wants us to remember what it was like in the wilderness so we don't make the same mistakes. Because the wilderness is coming again. Go to Ezekiel chapter 20. And this is going to be the last scripture. And then we'll close out. Because the wilderness is coming again. But this time, it's not going to be the same with us complaining and Moses not being able to enter into the promised land. Because, y'all know Moses didn't enter into the promised land because of us, right? It had nothing to do with Moses did. Moses was the most humble man upon the face of the earth, but we were so wicked, we made that humble man bang the rock like, here's your water, look what I did for you. That's how you know Moses had it up to here. He had it up to here. For him to hit the rock and yell at the rock, that means we put Moses up to here.
Think about that though. Only 2 out of all the people that came out made it in. So I mean, he was afflicting us then and killing us all.
Right.
And didn't even allow them. And even like you say, Moses led them, and he couldn't even get in.
Ezekiel 20, find the scripture where it says the wilderness.
33, man.
He was so mad he struck the rock, right?
Right.
Which one we start with? 33? Or
He hit it twice?
He hit it twice.
What?
Yeah, Moses.
Read that. Yo, stand up and read that loud and clear, bro.
All right. Numbers chapter 20 and verse 11. Book of Numbers chapter 20, verse 11. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with the rod he smote the rock twice, and water came out abundantly.
Wow.
And the congregation drank, and their beasts also. So it was so much water that they was able to fill the whole congregation and the flock to get water out of it. But that's how mad he was going back, that he hit that rock twice when the Most High said what he said to do. Twice.
Man, right, yeah, we put
he was
Moses
so
into
mad that-
overdrive.
he was so mad probably at that point in time. He was so mad at that point in time, he probably thought to himself, I should have let the Most High win on and start another nation with me. That's why he hit it twice.
I can believe that.
Actually, if I can, look at Numbers chapter 20, verse 7. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rocks before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth them the water out of the rock. So he said just to speak to the rock.
That was it.
Yeah.
Moses said, I'm not even.
He didn't. He was just only supposed to. The Bible say he was only supposed to whisper, just to talk to the rock. Moses hit the rock twice. Like, yo, that right there.
That shows rage.
I don't want to say the N word, but that's a moment. Moses had an N moment. That's what he had, because we was getting on his nerves so much. He's this thing on people. But listen, that caused him not to make it into the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. That's how fair the Lord is with his judgment. That the Lord didn't say, oh, because you Moses, I'm going to let it slide. Nah, the Lord even got on Moses. You know what I'm saying? But we know that it wasn't Moses' fault. It was our fault. As a people, it was our fault. Go to Ezekiel chapter 20, and we're going to start from verse 34.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 34. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the country wherein ye are scattered.
So this is talking about the second coming of Yahushua, because our people are already scattered to the four corners of the earth already. So when Yahushua come back with the chariots, he's going to take the 1/3 from all four corners of the earth. And then what is he going to do? Read.
With a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Read on.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
So he's not going to take us from the four corners of the earth and then just bring us automatically to the kingdom. A lot of people don't understand. When Christ come back, there's an order and things that's going to happen. Because all of this war and stuff is going to be happening before Christ come back. When Christ come back, it's going to be more war. Because the Bible will tell you all of the nations, they're going to stop fighting each other and they're going to look at Christ like, what is that? And then they all are going to fight Christ. So during that time process, we are going to be going through the same thing we went through with Moses. When Moses brought us out of Egypt, where did we go first? Did we go straight to Israel? We went to the wilderness. We was tried for 40 years in the wilderness. The only thing that's different now is it ain't going to take 40 years this time. Because instead of Moses doing it, it's Christ doing it this time. And the last time, the Lord used 40 years to get rid of a whole generation. Christ ain't doing that. Christ is not going to go through what Moses went through. You want to know why? This is what Christ's going to do with the wilderness. Read.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
The same way how Moses brought us into the wilderness and the Lord pleaded with us. Read.
So will I plead with you, said the Lord God.
That's when Christ is going to have us in the wilderness again. That's the secret. That's the place of safety that other Israelite groups be talking about when they say, oh, it's going to be a place of safety, you know, the wilderness. That's the wilderness right there. Christ is going to be the one to bring us there. We not going to make it there. Christ's going to take us there. You understand? And then what else? Read.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod.
Now he going to cause us to pass under the rod. How? Read.
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
There, the covenant is going to be established. The new covenant is going to be placed in our hearts. Read.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
Now this is the difference. The Lord going to do what?
I will purge out from among you the rebels.
Christ is not going to go through what Moses went through. Moses was so humble that the Lord had to tell Moses, hey, yo, back up a little bit. Everybody on this side, the ground just opened up. Everybody died. The Lord literally had to fight for Moses, like, because Moses was so humble that the Lord had to put people in check. The Lord literally had to be like, hey, Moses, hold on, wait. Tell these people to stand over there, and everybody that would have followed me stand over here, right? And Moses don't know what's going on, so Moses is like, everybody who will follow the Lord, stand here. Now, they do what Moses say. The ground opened up and ate everybody that wasn't on the side of Moses. The Lord literally had to do that, but guess what? In the wilderness, that ain't happening again. It's going to be Christ. You ain't right, you dying immediately. And this is when all of the different doctrines and the misunderstandings that we have and all of that stuff, this is when all of that get handled. Because it tell you, when that which is perfect come, then we shall know all things. So in the wilderness, it ain't going to be no, the Sabbath day is based off of the days of the year. No, it's based off of the days of the month. No, the Sabbath day is not all. There's only 12 hours. All of the confusion, that's not going to happen. Christ is going to be there to do all that. Like what did you say the Sabbath day was? Oh, you did. Christ is going to be there. Who going to fight against it? What you going to say? That ain't my Jesus. Like how the Christians say? Yeah. That's what's going to end up having you. That ain't my Jesus. My Jesus would have had me follow the lunar Sabbath. No diss to anybody following the lunar Sabbath. We all just rehearse the righteous acts. You understand? But in that day, Christ's going to purge out the rebels. So when you there, it ain't no misunderstanding. No, you interpret that way, I interpret that way. That's right now, during rehearsal period. That's what we doing. Trying to respect one another. In the wilderness, it ain't none of that. You do what Christ say or you die. Read that part again.
Verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgresses against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
Because before Christ give us the kingdom, he got to put the laws inside of our heart. And the only way he could do that is by purging out the rebels, getting rid of all of the false doctrine, the false teachings, and the misunderstandings that we have today as Israelites, and the reason why we all can't come together and just be one dang on group and one happy family. All of that is going to be eliminated when Christ comes back. So don't ever feel discouraged that, oh man, they celebrate the new moon 2 days different than us. Oh, these people wear different fringes than us. Oh, no, this person think you're supposed to celebrate. All of that stuff, don't get confused about that stuff. Because Christ's going to settle that when he come back. That's why I really don't bug out about it. People are like, oh, I believe the earth is flat. Maybe. Maybe not. I know one thing. When Christ come back and he say it, it ain't no fight against it. If Christ be like, if Christ be like, the earth flat, I'ma shut up. I'ma shut up and I'm gonna be like this, like, what are you gonna say? You gonna tell the creator what his creation is? Brother Mark, you had your head though. Yeah, but that's it ain't gonna be no confrontation in that day.
Alright, so check this out. In verse 34, Ezekiel 20 and 34, it says, I will bring you out from the people and will gather you from out the countries where you were scattered. Wouldn't that be like the same song that we used to sing on them ships? Swing low, chariot, coming forth to carry his arms. Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. Swing low, sweet chariot. You know what's funny? How come all of our slave songs is like that, talking about Christ, going back to the land of Israel and all of that stuff?
Yep.
Can't tell us we ain't the children of Israel.
Now check this out. In 35, he said, I will bring you into the wilderness of the people and I will plead with you face to face. And then 38, because you know it's all talking about the purging, right?
Right.
38 is saying he's going to purge out the people. The test, right? He's going to refine you as how gold is refined in the fire. Would this not match up with Isaiah chapter 66, 15 through 17, when the Lord come back?
Nah, Isaiah 66 is more about that's more dealing with the wilderness period, not necessarily the wilderness that Christ is going to take us to.
You mind if I read it?
Huh?
You mind if I read it?
Go ahead, read it.
All right. Isaiah 66, chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
Oh, my bad. I thought you was talking about verse 23. But go ahead, keep reading.
To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Yes.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse.
And
shall be
get rid of that Chinese
consumed together, saith the Lord.
Yep.
Wouldn't that match up?
Oh yeah.
Sir.
No. That definitely match up, and that also match up with Jacob's trouble and all of that too, because that's when a lot of that's going to be happening. You understand? Because this is the thing. When people get into survival mode, that's the real test of who's going to follow the laws of God.
Thanks.
When you haven't ate in days, and then the possum run past you, like y'all, like who in here watch the TV show Walking Dead? I do. It's cool if you don't watch it. I like the show. You watch it?
Yeah.
There was one episode where they was like walking around for days and they ain't had nothing to eat, you know, and they walking and then they see a pack of dogs. And the pack of dogs is hungry because the zombies eating everything up with the flesh. So everybody's starving, right? So the pack of dogs seen them, and the pack of dogs is looking at them like, ooh, you fool, we about to jump y'all. And they looked at the dogs like, oh no, you fool. They pulled out the guns and started chasing the dogs. Now it sounds funny, but it's a TV show reflecting reality if something like that happened in real life where things got so detrimental that you would go days and days without eating. The average person will not keep the laws of God. The average person won't. They'll eat a rat, they'll do whatever it takes to survive. We, hopefully all of us here, we, scriptures say, wisdom should be the stability of God's times. We're not going to just jump up and eat a dog. We're going to still keep the commandments.
We have the knowledge though, and that's what it comes down to. We know the punishments, and we know what the Most High say, and now with us learning about Him and seeking His face, we learn that He would put these tests in front of us, to trial us and test us to see. For example, Abraham about to sacrifice Isaac, but then right before he did it, what? A ram came. So these are all tests that I believe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To show you how much do you really love me.
Yeah, Jacob's trouble is also a test. Yeah.
Fear me, love me, fear me.
Yeah.
But if you're showing your love, you fear of Him. You know what I mean? So it's
all of it's a test. Because Jacob's trouble, all of that's a test too. And the wilderness is also a test. You understand? That's when the Lord going to be purging out those dang rebels. So this is the reason why the Lord have us following these feast days, because they're a shadow of things to come. So when we see tabernacles and it's saying remember what it was like in the wilderness, you have to ask yourself, why is this commanding us to remember what it was like in the wilderness? And it's because we're going to be in the wilderness again.
real quick, man. So check this out. These are just thought about. So all of us are Israelites, but do you think that he ain't gonna come by swing a chariot by pick up every single Israelite? He only gonna pick up the ones that know who they are, keeping the commandments. But I believe that there's gonna be
other
those
Israelites,
that, like we was talking about earlier, those who say I'm not going to keep the feast days. Maybe they will go, but maybe, you know what I'm saying? He's going to gather us up, and everybody that's not fully.
Everybody is not going to be gathered by the chariots.
Right.
There's going to be some people that's going to be brought there physically by other means and not by the chariots. Like since we already in Isaiah, go to Isaiah 65. Brother Mark replacing Brother Calvin today.
It's a Sabbath day. We talking.
That's right. That's right. Go to 65. How many verses is in 65?
66.
25.
25.
Start from verse 20.
Verse 20.
Huh?
Isaiah.
Isaiah. Yeah, chapter 65.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 20. There shall be no more thence an infant of days.
All right, skip down to verse. Oh, wait, it's not chapter 65. Just give me a moment, real quick. It's still in the same, it's in chapter 66. And go to start from verse 19. Start from verse 18.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 18. For I know their words and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory.
Read on.
And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nation, to Tyrish, Pooh, and Lud, that draw the bow.
This is talking about different areas in the European region. And so it's saying like Japhites, real Japhites, not Esau, but real Japhites. What are they going to do? Read.
To Tublin and Javin, to the isles afar off.
All of the isles, Fiji Islands, Hawaii, all of that stuff. These are where the real Japhites dwell at. You know what I'm saying? Like Hawaiians are original Japhites. Filipinos, they are original Japhites. Read.
That have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles.
So the truth is going to get spread so far that even Japhites that live in the farthest corners of the earth will actually hear what the Bible says. Read.
And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering to the Lord out of all nations upon horse and in chariot.
And in cars, vehicles, any type of vehicle. Read.
And in litter and upon mules and upon swift beasts.
That's talking about the airplanes. Read.
To my holy mountain Jerusalem, said the Lord. As the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of the Lord.
So these are Israelites that's not going to be taken up in the chariots. But heathens are going to be bringing these Israelites from all around the world and bringing them pretty much to the kingdom to be presented to the Lord. It's like, Lord, is this one of your chosen people? Look, we were nice. We got a boat for them. We got an airplane for them. You know what I'm saying? We the KKK was trying to kill them. We snuck them out of the back and we got them. We traveled all the way over here, thousands of miles to bring your people to you. That's what it means when it says they're going to bring us like an offering to the Lord. Like when we offer to the Lord, we offer lamb and sheep and all of that. They're going to be offering us. They're going to be bringing us from all around the world, bringing us to Jerusalem. Like, I think this one of those people you was talking about, Lord. You know, one of those people that's above all people, right? Read.
And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, said the Lord.
Right, and this is how you know it's a future prophecy about the kingdom, because this is when we as a nation are going to be the priest of the world, because the Lord only dealt with the Levites as priests. We can't like if a Jew they try to do some things that Levites do, they'll get killed. There's certain vessels that you can't even touch unless you are a Levite. A brother died trying to save the ark. Imagine that. He didn't do nothing wrong. The ark of the Lord was about to fall. The brother tried to save it, and the Lord killed him. Boom, instantly.
Right there.
Right then and there, just because he wasn't not just a Levite, but the right Levite to be able to touch the ark of the Lord. So this is when we are going to be pretty much the Levites of the whole planet, because we are going to govern the world. The nation of Israel is chosen above all people, because in the kingdom we are going to govern the world and teach the whole world how to worship Yahweh. All right, that's our job. That's what we are chosen for. The nations look at us for everything else already. They look at us for style. They look at us for fashion. They look at us for our inventions, our ideas. They take everything from us now in wickedness. So imagine what the world going to be like if we get right in righteousness. And they take from us in righteousness. That's when you're going to have a real complete planet. The world is not complete because we wicked. If we get righteous, the heathens get righteous. If we stay wicked, the heathens stay wicked. That's how the Lord created us. So with that being said, we're going to say all praises to the Most High, the Wada Yahweh Ba Shema Mashiach Yahweh. And before I offer to y'all, I want to say for anybody on the call, do anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a question. Where is the camp being held at?
The what?
The camp where you're teaching from right now.
Oh, we're in Alabama right now.
Oh, you're in Alabama.
Con. Yeah, we're in Alabama. But I was over there in Jersey with you guys. But the Lord moved me down here, so we had to do the work down here.
Okay, not a problem.
Con. Where are you at, by the way, brother, if you don't mind?
No, I'm in Jersey. I'm in Union, New Jersey.
Okay. All praises. Con. Anybody else? Con. All right, no problem. Now I'm gonna ask everybody over here. Anybody over here have any, questions or comments.
You had stated that Jacob had 13 sons.
Pretty much.
But he had 13 kids, but he only had 12 sons.
He had
according to
let me see. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Reuben, Gad, Issachar, Naphtali, Zebulon, Asher, Dan. Who else? I'm missing two. Ephraim, Manasseh. No. That's what it is.
He had a daughter.
One tribe became two tribes.
Yeah, that's when they used Joseph's sons.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he took. But you're right. He had 12 sons.
Yeah. You're right. It was 12 sons.
Right.
But he adopted.
One of the sons became
Joseph,
two tribes.
Joseph.
Joseph, two sons became a tribe. So that's why it's like 13 tribes. But it's like, in actuality, it's really only 12, because like you said, there's only 12 sons. Mm-hmm. So even in Revelations, it kind of put them back together, because I don't think it say Ephraim and Manasseh in Revelations. It say the tribe of Joseph in Revelations. So it put them back together, and then Dan just is not mentioned, but he's there. Scripture tell you he's going to be there for judgment and all of that. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and close out with prayer. And everybody online, the water for tuning in. And I'm going to try to tune y'all in more whenever we do Sabbath service down here. I try to tune y'all in more for those of y'all who up there not going to camp and want to make sure y'all get some spiritual upliftment throughout the day of the Sabbath. If you're not with the brother Yeshaya and Tamak and them going to camp, then y'all definitely can log in over here. But I just have to keep reminding myself, because I'll be forgetting, guys. But peace be unto all y'all, and Shabbat Shalom. Khan. Shalom. All right.
Let everybody know.
Oh yeah. Before we end off with prayer, I just wanted to know that this is going to be our last Sabbath in this building. Unfortunately, we are losing the building, but we already have plans on trying to get a different location already. But until that location is confirmed, we will be at the house of Obadiah weekly to worship. So we still going to have our same gatherings, same time, just a different location with the brother Obadiah at his house. And in the meantime, when the other location is confirmed, we're going to be working on that, For the new location, we are going to need help. We are going to need people to participate more financially, whether it's tithings, freed offerings, whatever you're able to give financially, definitely give it. But not just financially, we also going to need help with hands and work, because if we do get a location, we're going to have to build it up. We're going to have to fix it up. We have a lot of brothers here that have very talented and skilled and fixing things and stuff like that. So we're going to need brothers to help out and get the new location fixed up and suitable for us to be able to come and worship the same way how we doing right now. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but we definitely going to get it there. Brother Obadiah, did you want to add anything to it?
I learned this about a week and a half ago, that we were going to be losing the building. I think it's something because of the cuts that Trump doing, and the kids got to come over and sit up here, and we can't disturb what they're doing. Right. And this will be the last service. But I say, just like in the book of Daniel, when the Most High, he told Daniel to write it in the book and close it up, I didn't panic when Joe told me that. I just didn't. It just, the Most High look at you, how you act in a certain situation. And me and Moshe were like, we'll get another place. Yep. And I was just riding down the road the other day. I was like, I ain't panicking nothing, and all of a sudden it just came in my mind. My brother got a gym out on the Troy Highway next to True Divine, just like this. He trained professional athletes and high school students out there, and I didn't think about it. And I texted him. I said, Todd, you still got that building? He goes, yeah. That's what I need to get with you. He said, okay. So I'm going to get with my brother Todd. He got a building, just like this, in a
So already, just so y'all know, the Lord is already working.
He already working
on the new location.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing to worry about, but we still bringing it up to everybody, so everybody understand and know what we're doing. And I'll make sure I send out a group text to the people that I'm in contact with from the church lines to make sure everybody know. And the brother Moshe will do the same like he always do, letting y'all know that we keeping the Sabbath and what time and stuff like that. And we're going to work it out. You know, most likely next week we'll be at Obadiah house until we work out the situation that he's bringing up now, you know. But listen, this is part of the work.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be easy.
That's right.
When Moshe told me about it, I just laughed, like, cause I've been through it before already. You know, we've had a congregation where the funny part about it was we was forced into it, cause we had a congregation where everybody was actually paying tithes. We had a good amount of money in the box, and then we said, man, we should get a building while we got this money. Then we was half stepping like, nah. We could wait, and as soon as we said that, the very next day, the house caught on fire. The house caught on fire, and then we had to take that money and get the storefront location that we ended up having back then. So that's why when he told me, I said, man, this is reminiscent of that. Like, I already know the Lord just opening the door for a new location. You know? But all right, all praises. But other than that, do anybody have any concerns or anything they want to speak on?
Yeah, I want to say that in this walk, you know, we still just dangerous in this walk, but here around this time, I would say we need to prepare ourselves. That's the blowing of the trumpets is coming around.
That's right.
Prepare ourselves for temptations, and the devil is starting to put in his work to keep us from not keeping the holy days. So,
good message.
Just a wake-up call, because he's coming to do it.
Yeah, because like we said earlier, your body have a whole nother brain. The stomach is a whole nother brain, and you have to mentally prepare for the feast days that's coming up, because the closer we get to it, the more Satan is going to attack each and every one of us individually. You know, and trust me, I know, because every year around Passover, the demons come out, and every year around this time, the demons come out, because these are the Lord's feast days. These are the days that the Lord wants us to do, and Satan is trying to stop us from doing that. So it won't be a coincidence. All of a sudden you start having problems with your family, your kids, and your spouse, and your job, and you're like, why is all of this happening at the same time? It is Satan, because we are getting close to the holy days. All right, we're about to usher in a holy month, where the first day is the Sabbath, the 10th day is the Sabbath, the 15th day, and what's 7 days from that? The 22nd day is a Sabbath, and then you still have the regular 4 Sabbaths or 3 Sabbaths within that month. That's like 7 Sabbaths in 1 month. Think about that. So that's a holy month. The 7th month is a holy month for the Lord, and that's when Satan comes out a lot. And you know, and the funny thing is, Muslims, if I remember correctly, I don't know, because it's been so long I've been in the truth. But if I remember correctly, they start following like Ramadan around this time or something like that. I forget. But I remember a Muslim used to tell me, like, man, around Ramadan, demons just start coming out. And it felt like that was true. But it was true simply off of the fact that we were searching for the Most High, trying to do the right thing. So even though it was under the wrong philosophy, like we read earlier, whenever you're trying to do good, evil is present. Just understand that. So like the brother Mark said, definitely prepare your minds for atonement and the feast days that's coming up. So with that being, oh, go ahead, sis.
So we were talking about wilderness and all that, and the booths dwelling in tents, and then it also said Jacob.
Suave.
Jacob dwelled in tents.
That's right.
So that's how we know.
Con. Yeah. Yep. I love the tents. It's a beautiful thing. And last year when we celebrated Tabernacles, man, that was so awesome, man. Like, you know, Sensei was out there, Mark, the brother Moshe, Nehemiah, everybody was out there. It was a beautiful thing, and that moon was so bright that even all of the amount of trees that was out there couldn't cover that dang on moon. It was still bright. With all of those trees out there, it was still bright. It was like you wake up in the middle of the night and you could see everything.
You know what amazed me about that? I didn't stay out there in the woods. We stayed in our backyard. We came out there for the
gathering.
When y'all blew the trumpet, when the trumpet's in the wilderness, just go. You just we down in the dark. I'm like, what?
Con.
Blow it out, man. It's different.
If I advise at least each and every one of Israelites do like one day.
Yeah, one day.
I'm talking about a full 1 day camping out there in the wilderness. You will enjoy it.
Yeah.
You will enjoy it. My first time ever doing the tabernacle, when I first came in the truth, I was in Michigan. You know, I did everything to myself. I ain't know nothing. I ain't know nobody who knew it. So I did everything to myself by myself in the basement. I never celebrate no high holy day because I ain't know what was going on. But when I came here and hooked up with these brothers, my first year I went out and camped. The first year, man, I enjoyed it. That's why I do love the tabernacle. This is my favorite feast, the tabernacle.
I got one question for you. You gonna take care of them copperheads when I come out?
We ain't gonna run into none. Only thing you might hear something out there, probably some what it is, them little pigs running around.
Oh yeah. No, you
wild hogs.
Yeah.
You'll hear them all night running around. You'll hear them all night. But everything else, you will love it.
I got a bus over there on Cedric Land, so I used to put my dogs up at night. Because I knew that those wild boars was out there, and my dog, he was an idiot. He don't back down for nothing, so he don't understand. This dang on hog, they ain't gonna kill me. He just go after it. And so I just used to put my dang on dogs in the bus, like, all right, y'all sleep in the bus tonight, you know. But they be out there though. They definitely be out there.
Yeah, y'all will enjoy it though. You will enjoy it.
Con. But you will enjoy it in your backyards too, because my first time doing it was in a brother's backyard, and man, those 7 days felt like we was in the woods, man. It really did, like, you know.
Is it a holy convocation?
Yes. Yeah.
So if it's a holy
The first and the last day is commanded to be a holy convocation on the first and the last
So
day.
would you stay the night on the very first day?
Did we stay the night the very first day?
You need to stay the first night of the first day, then it's a holy convocation, so therefore everybody should be in boots on the first day.
I would advise you would, because
It's not. This is the answer. The answer is yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes. According to scriptures, in that holy convocation, everybody would be camping out in tents that night. You gotta go pee? Hey, deal with the answer.
I want you to take care of them no-shows.
Come on. Yo.
They got some nice land. It's 25 acres.
yeah.
It's a mess.
I would advise.
Down in the real wood, make it down.
These
I'm just talking. But he got
is
go there,
putting
reach
you
10 out. He got
and
25
teaching
acres.
you how
They
to
don't
one, know your brothers, and number two, say you love for
He's really in the woods.
He's
Really in the woods.
You already had enough time to practice that you don't win
Like that.
I mean, we know how to do tents and stuff,
Okay.
which is good, but also knowing how to cut down a tree and being able to
That
make
night
you
they
a
blow them
house.
trumpets.
Yeah.
Wow, that thing get carried. That's how Moses and them should call everybody to,
Thinking about how to make a
blowing
fire.
them trumpets.
Therefore, you will
Then
increase
the
your
most high
experience
said a
in trying
trumpet
to
will
learn
sound
how
and
to
you not be
build a
afraid.
nation.
Because when you hear that trumpet, you know
Yep.
That's
it's
what
coming.
people want to kill the stones to go kill the Goliath.
Trumpet be
You know
blown
what I
and you
mean?
not
So
be
you don't
afraid.
get your payment or your reward because you didn't put in the works before. So can you really pity the snake trauma if you get bit by the snake?
The snake, wasn't
I was having a conversation, we were very speaking.
it? What he said?
Real talk.
You're right.
Real talk.
What about the snake?
But
Charmer.
like you was talking about, we have to prepare ourselves for this, especially this 7 month, man. You know, Satan do attack. Like the brother was saying, he do attack a lot because he already attacked me. He attacked me to shut my body down 2 days straight, back to back. I had to take out work, but I had to use my vacation day. So what the attacking was, I'm gonna take your vacation day so you won't have to celebrate these feasts. He left me with one, but my points down. He ain't gonna stop me from celebrating this feast, brother.
I feel that.
I take a point. I take a point. So I got
take
one.
A point now. I ain't got no
but
PTO.
I'm gonna take 2 points. I'm gonna take 2 points.
I ain't got no PTO.
Feast.
I use all of my days. I'm about to get a few points. It's all good though.
So you have to prepare yourself. You know, we have to prepare ourselves.
Yep.
That 7 month is the biggest.
Yeah.
And he really gonna attack.
Yeah.
He tried to attack this morning. A brother Jonah, I guess Jonah wasn't feeling too good. So he would try to make me stay at the house, I guess, but I wasn't gonna, I couldn't hear it. I got on up and got myself ready and headed on out here. I wasn't gonna let him stop that service. I can't let him stop it.
All right, Amawa Yapanya Jerusalem, please stand and face Jerusalem. Hallelujah. 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 The word of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shah, which is thank you, Jehovah, in the name of Jesus Christ. We want to thank you for the lesson that we received today, to be able to understand your holy days, to be able to understand your will, to be able to understand what was revealed to us through the holy prophets, through Moshe, through Yahweh Shah, the Mashiach, who the world ignorantly calls as Jesus Christ. I pray that our minds and our spirits is right upon the Day of Atonement, upon the blowing of the trumpets. I pray that not only our mind and our spirits is right, but even the people who we trying to invite in this truth, that we get them prepared and get their minds right. Because even though it's really required for us because we know the knowledge, but it's also required for us to spread the knowledge. So I ask that you forgive us for our sins, that if any of us have any sins that affect us individually or as a congregation, that you look upon us and have mercy, and that you eliminate whatever confusion, whatever evilness that's around to keep us from growing, to keep us from prospering, and to keep us from doing your word and fulfilling your will in these last days. In the name of your only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, the Mashiach, who the world ignorantly calls as Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Good man.